Proven winners. ColorChoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timbermart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timbermart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timbermart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Hey everybody, I'm former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Indy 500 winner and current IndyCar driver Alexander Rossi. And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi.
Look, guys, it's May, which means the biggest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500, is almost here. So make sure you join us every Monday and Thursday throughout the month as we bring you all the content you could ever want to prepare you for the most exciting day in racing.
So download Off Track now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tune to SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 all year long to hear expert opinions and analysis from former players, coaches, and executives.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. Sun is shining over Rogers Centre. Just the second time this year we have the roof open, and we're ready for Game 2 between the Blue Jays and the Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris, Kevin Gausman takes the ball for the Blue Jays today, and before his last start, it really felt like, okay, no spring, slow start. Now he's starting to get it going, but he gets hit pretty hard by Minnesota and tries to rein it back in this up-and-down season so far.
Yeah, before his last start against Minnesota, he only gave up one earned run in almost 13 innings of work. And then in his last start against Minnesota, he gave up 6 earned runs on 10 hits in just 3 innings and threw 86 pitches in 3+ innings. That's not the Kevin Gausman that we've become accustomed to over the last couple of years. But it wasn't the stuff. That's the good thing about his last start. It was just the location. He was throwing a lot of pitches over the heart of the plate, and a good big league lineup will not let any starter, regardless of the kind of stuff that you have, throw pitches over the middle of the plate. Kevin Gausman will just have to be better today with his command, with his location, especially with that split finger. He can't just float it up there and expect these guys not to hit it. He needs to throw it down in the zone with that good action out of the strike zone, and he'll be fine.
Show and Daniela were talking about it on the pregame show as well. Minnesota in particular has seemed to be able to see that splitter and hit it better than others, so perhaps an opportunity against a team that he started his season against in the Tampa Bay Rays to do a little bit better. Before we get to the Blue Jays and Rays lineups, let's take a look at the standings, brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees 31-15 atop the division. Baltimore right behind them at 28-14. Tampa Bay Rays are in third at 24-22. Boston 22-23. And the Blue Jays 19-24. The Blue Jays trotting out on the field right now. Before we get to what John Schneider and his team will send out today, Chris, who do Kevin Cash and the Rays have in the lineup?
Well, leading off for the Tampa Bay Rays will be Yandy Diaz. He'll play first base. Randy Arozarena will hit second and play left field. DHing and batting third is Harold Ramirez. In the cleanup spot is Isaac Paredes. He'll be at third base. Batting fifth and playing right field is Johnny DeLuca. At second base, batting sixth is Ahmed Rosario. Jose Caballero is batting seventh. He'll play shortstop. Behind the plate, batting eighth will be Alex Jackson, and hitting ninth will be Jose Siri. He'll play center field. On the mound for the Rays is 6'6" righty Zach Eflin. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing second base will be Davis Schneider. Dalton Varsho will hit second and play left field. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will play first base. He'll hit third. In the cleanup spot is Bo Bichette. He'll play short. Batting fifth and DHing will be Justin Turner. George Springer will bat sixth and play right field. Behind the plate is Danny Jansen. He'll bat seventh. At third base, batting eighth will be Kevin Biggio. And hitting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. He'll be in center field. On the mound is Kevin Gausman.
For Gausman, it's his 9th start of the season, a 2-3 record, and a 4.95 ERA. We already talked about his last start against Minnesota where he struggled. One thing maybe to look for with Gausman, he's used the slider at times a little bit more this year than he has in previous seasons, although overall the number is actually a little bit down. Also, he's throwing a two-seam fastball a little bit more to right-handed hitters rather than the traditional four-seam fastball. And everyone that Chris named in the Tampa Bay lineup is right-handed hitting. They are resting all 4 of their lefty swingers against Gausman. It starts with Yandy Diaz, leadoff hitter for the Rays. Blue Jays with white uniforms and white pants, the Rays in the dark blues, and Diaz stepping in now. Right-handed hitter stands up tall, slightly open stance. Gausman adjusting the back of his cap, comes set, tapping that front left foot. He gets still, kicks, and delivers. First pitch of the day is low, ball 1. Time of the pitch is 3:08 Eastern. Partly cloudy, but sunny right now at Rogers Center. 21 degrees Celsius, 69 Fahrenheit. 1-0. Hit on the ground up the middle. A dive from Bichette. It's off his glove and into center field. A base hit. On the second pitch of the game, Diaz is aboard for the Rays.
Well, that wasn't a bad pitch from Kevin Gausman. A fastball down and away, but Yandy Diaz just so good. Like we were mentioning last night, you're not going to keep him down. He's not going to be that below-average hitter for very long. He just takes that fastball and drills it on the ground just past the glove of Bo Bichette and into center field.
So a base hit here for Diaz, and now Randy Arozarena's coming up. Gausman offers home. Swing and a miss. Arozarena way late on that 93-mile-per-hour fastball, 0-1. An uneven year so far for the Rays left fielder. A 161 average, but 8 home runs and 18 RBIs. 0-1. Fouls it off his front foot. Arozarena down to a knee. 0-2. We're in this first inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. No outs and a runner on. The 0-2. Bounced foul behind third base coach Brady Williams for the Rays. It's Michael Johns coaching first.
That is a dangerous pitch right there. He throws an 0-2 split finger about thigh high on the inner part of the plate. Randy Arozarena, when he's going well, he doesn't miss that pitch.
0-2 again. Just a little bit inside. Went back to the splitter there, but Arozarena didn't offer. Home plate ump today is the crew chief, Mark Carlson. Stu Sherwater at first. Jordan Baker at second. Dan Merzel, umpires third. The 1-2. Low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't mind that pitch right there. That's where the split finger needs to be. Starting it at the bottom of that strike zone, make it look like a strike out of the hands, and then just dropping off the table.
Trying to get a ground ball here with nobody out and Yandy Diaz on first. Top of the first inning. Gausman reaches back, fires, and it's popped up. Shallow right center field. The second baseman, Schneider, waving his arms in the air, makes the call and catches it off to his left. 1 out.
That's a great sequence. A splitter down in the zone, out of the strike zone, and then that elevated fastball right at the top of that strike zone, and Arozarena swings right underneath it and pops it up to Davis Schneider.
So Kevin Gausman wins the first battle against Arozarena, and here comes Harold Ramirez, who had the day off yesterday, back in the lineup today. The designated hitter stands at the back of the righty batter's box with a runner on first and 1 out. No score, top of the first inning, the pitch. Fastball outside, 1-0. Ramirez batting .268 on the year. Not a ton of extra base power so far, though. Just 1 home run, 12 RBIs. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Big hack. He went for home run number 2 there. It's now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, there's that slider, the first one we've seen today. Not a great pitch, kind of a spinning slider, but just slow enough where Harold Ramirez swings right out in front of it.
Diaz leads off first. Guerrero 2 steps off the bag. The 1-1. Inside, ball 2. Harold Ramirez, who really bounced around before making it up to the major leagues, broke out in a big way last year for the Rays. Hit .313, 12 homers, 68 RBIs. 2-1. Fouled back, 2-2. This year, though, the average in the 260s, and with the lack of power, his on-base plus slugging has gone from an all-star level at over 800 to below average at below 600 right now. Two-two pitch. Soft liner, left field, shallow, running in and making the catch, Dalton Varsho. Yandy Diaz retreats from first. It looked like trouble for a moment, but with the speed of Varsho, he made it a routine play.
Another good split finger from Kevin Gausman. That's a good sign for this ball club. Started that thing down in the zone, and Harold Ramirez is way out in front of it. Hit a little cue shot just off the end of the bat. Dalton Varsho comes in and makes an easy catch.
So after the leadoff single rolled up the middle by Yandy Diaz, Diaz remains on first, and there are 2 outs now for Isaac Paredes. First pitch. Outside or low, ball 1. The Blue Jays really avoided Isaac Paredes yesterday. The .303 hitter with 8 home runs for the Rays was walked 3 times in 4 trips to the plate. 1-0. Swing at a mile-high fly ball, but way off to the left. That one's destined for the 500 level, and it'll land about halfway up. 1-1.
How many people in the 500 level, about, 20 rows up, maybe 15 rows up, think that they're going to get a foul ball?
Hopefully 0, because they shouldn't expect that. That was wild from Ramirez, or pardon me, from Paredes. No score, top of the first inning. A step off from Gausman, just chases Diaz back, doesn't throw over to first. Yandy Diaz has not stolen a base yet this year. The 1-1. Called strike, and it's 1-2.
Isaac Paredes didn't like that call, kind of tilting his head, mumbling something under his breath, but that was a great pitch right on the black.
Paredes wide open in his stance. Stands on his front left toe. The 1-2. Check swing, and the pitch was low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Almost offered at that split finger. Another good one. This time started out of the zone. That was a good 2-strike pitch right there. Isaac Paredes doesn't offer at it.
He's their leading run producer with 24 RBIs. The 2-2 in the dirt ball 3. The Blue Jays largely avoided him yesterday with those 3 walks, and it actually burned them in the end, as after his 3rd walk, Richie Palacios hit a 2-run homer that made it 3-0 at the time. The Rays went on to win 4-3. Runner off from first on the pitch. The 3-2 is hit on the ground, foul. Rays have made Gausman work so far. He's been a little bit scattered, and they've fouled off some pitches. He's thrown 19 already, 11 strikes. Yandy Diaz on first after the leadoff single. No score, top of the first inning. The payoff pitch. Off the fist, a looper headed toward left, sprinting into foul territory. It gets over the head of Bichette, but it's down foul, and they'll do it again at 3-2.
Well, Isaac Paredes helped out Kevin Gausman there, swinging at ball 4. That was a tough pitch, a fastball riding in on the hands. Kind of gets jammed and just loops it into foul territory there.
Gausman takes a moment, kicks some dirt out of his cleats, and steps onto the middle of the rubber. Paredes already waiting for him, 5 on the pitch clock. Diaz off from first, the 3-2. Swing and a high drive. Left field. Hooking. Foul. Into the seats in the second deck. Another booming foul ball for Isak Paredes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Gausman throws a split finger here. He's thrown a lot of fastballs in a row. Isak Paredes, a good hitter. If he sees a lot of pitches in a row, you have to mix it up. You can't just keep grooving fastballs.
The 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. He did throw the splitter, and he gets him to end the inning. The leadoff single stranded, no score. Bottom of the first inning coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit ConnexOntario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. Bottom of the first inning, and the first pitch to Davis Schneider is called strike one. No score, Blue Jays and Rays. Zach Eflin on the mound for Tampa Bay, making his 10th start of the year and second start against the Blue Jays. 0-1. Swinging a fly ball, right center, racing back to Luca, and it's over his head, one hopping into the wall. Davis Schneider stands up at second. He's got a leadoff double.
And just like that, no perfect game, no no-hitter, get it out of the way early.
And the big news today, Davis Schneider hitting leadoff, which, yes, he had done a couple times in the last week, but not when George Springer was in the lineup. Today, Schneider at 1, Springer at 6, and immediately Schneider pays dividends with an extra base hit to start the Blue Jays' offensive day. That'll bring the corners in. Dalton Varsho hit second today, and the first pitch to him is high ball 1. Schneider didn't even give me time to let you know that. Zach Eflin's 3-4 this year, 3.91 ERA, 41 strikeouts, and a remarkable 4 walks in over 50 innings pitched. 1-0. Varsho takes strike 1. For Eflin, it's a sinker and a cutter that he uses most, but will also flip his curve and sweeper in a lot. 1-1. Fouled straight back into the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I know that the ultimate goal in this situation is to drive in Davis Schneider, but you have to try to get him to third no matter what. A strikeout here would be worst case scenario, of course, but getting that guy, moving the runner over is paramount.
Right on left pitch. Outside, ball 2. I was thinking maybe when he came up, he would try one of the bunts for base hits and settle on a sacrifice if it didn't work out. Varsho did pop up a bunt, though, yesterday. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball, shallow center field. Jose Siri charging in, makes the catch. It's not deep enough for Schneider to go anywhere. He'll stay at second, and now there's one out.
And that's just not going to get it done right there. You can't hit a weak fly ball to center field. You have to try to manufacture runs. You have to get that guy in from second base. Leadoff double should score close to 100% of the time. If I'm John Schneider, I'm furious at that at-bat.
A chance to make it up here for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is tied with Varsho for the team lead, 19 RBIs. Schneider on second, held on by Ahmed Rosario. The pitch. Swing and a miss by Vlad, 0-1. Guerrero had his 15-game on-base streak snapped yesterday with an 0-for-4 day. A .268 hitter so far this year, 10 extra base hits. 0-1. Called inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Of the 4 home runs that Vlad hit this year, the deepest one came off Zach Eflin, that moonshot. The 1-1 fouled off 1-2.
I tell you what, there is a ton of movement on that sinker from Zach Eflin. It's not that hard. He only throws 91 to about 93, 94 miles an hour, but there is a whole heck of a lot of movement on it.
For Eflin, he's in his second year with the Rays, brought over after a successful career with Philadelphia. 1-2. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schneider on second and 1 out. No score, bottom 1, the pitch. Bounce to the right side, picked up by Rosario on 2 hops. He'll throw over to first. Davis Schneider advances 90 feet. He's on third, but now 2 outs.
And if there was nobody out, that would be perfect. That would be best case scenario. That's exactly what Dalton Varsho should have done, getting Davis Schneider over to over to third base, and then Vladimir Guerrero would have driven him in with that ground ball to second base, but now Davis Schneider's on third with 2 outs.
Up comes Bo Bichette. The infield plays straight away and backed up right now as the first pitch to Bichette misses outside. 1-0. 0-0 game, Blue Jays and Rays. Bottom of the first inning, Davis Schneider with a leadoff double, now on third with 2 outs. The 1-0. Swing and a hot shot to the mound, picked by the pitcher Eflin. A very nice play as he throws it to first and ends the inning. The leadoff double is stranded, and it's a scoreless game after an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The PGA Championship is on SiriusXM. Follow all the action on Channel 92.
This is spinning back towards the hole. He made it! Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8th.
Coverage from Valhalla Golf Club is happening right now.
Now working toward the flag stick, and he made it! He made it! My goodness! Rory McIlroy flies into the lead.
The PGA Championship on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it off, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Get the latest news from OTAs to minicamps, all the way through training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. No score, Blue Jays and Rays, Game 2 of the series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kevin Gausman on the rubber for the Blue Jays. Gave up 1 hit in the first, got a strikeout as well. Now his pitch to Johnny DeLuca. Swinging a ground ball to third. Playing in, it's fielded by Biggio, who throws over to first. 1 pitch, 1 out for Gausman.
That fastball was just 89 miles an hour from Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, that was a little bit odd. We'll keep looking at that as the game goes on. Sometimes the pitch tracking gets it wrong. He does have a changeup that he doesn't really use often, but occasionally throws it in. But we'll have to wait and see. There was that odd start in New York early in the year. First pitch to Ahmed Rosario is another fastball in the 80s at 89 for strike 1. Rosario batting .299 on the season, 2 homers, 18 driven in. The 0-1. Smoked on the ground to third. Picked up on 1 hop by Biggio. Another throw over to first. 2 nice plays by Biggio, and there are 2 outs. This second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Biggio plays in once again against one of the speedier guys in the game. Shortstop Jose Caballero is up. First pitch. Outside, ball 1. Not a fastball at 90. Gausman adjusts the front and the back of his cap. Tucks the ball into his glove, belt high. And the pitch. Called strike on the inside edge, 1-1. Gausman had to throw 22 pitches in the first inning. Already 2 outs here, only 5 thrown in the second. And a swing and a miss at his 1-1. Went with the slider there, and it's 1-2.
That was actually a good slider from Kevin Gausman. Started on the outer third and then broke off the plate. Caballero swinging wildly at it.
Gausman looking for his second strikeout today. Kicks, delivers home, and misses inside with a splitter, 2-2. The catcher, Alex Jackson, on deck. Caballero twirling his bat high above his head. The 2-2. Swings and fouls it off into the seats behind home plate. Caballero swapped with Luke Raley. Came over from Seattle in the offseason. Rays needed a shortstop with the absence of Wander Franco. 2-2. Fastball outside, full count. That one at 95.
There is so much more left in the tank. When he's 89 to 91 like he was earlier on in this inning, we shouldn't be questioning him. That last fastball was 95.4 miles an hour.
He does do this from time to time. The 3-2. Fastball, got him looking. 94 on the inside edge. Gausman freezes Caballero to end a 1-2-3 top of the second. No score, middle of 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man. Swing and a miss.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck. the movers who care.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timbermart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timbermart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timbermart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Double's gone. Two-run shot. Kevin Kiermaier.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Andrew from Toronto took home more than $2.6 million earlier this season. You could be the next big winner. The current jackpot is over $180,000 and will get much, much higher by the end of the homestand. Visit bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario or Nova Scotia. First pitch at the bottom of the second is strike one against Justin Turner. Zach Eflin's second is down and away, ball one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's the bottom of the second inning, and there's no score between the Blue Jays and Rays. 6'6" righty Eflin winds and offers. Down and away, ball two.
Justin Turner is hitting 138 over his last 15 games.
Has been a struggle after starting the year so hot. Turner batting in total right now, 238. 2-1. Fouled off, 2-2.
And the thing that I've noticed the most is he's struggling mightily with those fastballs on the inside part of the plate, and he's struggling with fastballs elevated. I'm actually surprised that Zach Eflin is going at him with a few breaking balls here.
Eflin's 2-2. Off the fist, a looper behind short. Caballero with a late break makes the catch, and there's one out.
Now batting, number 4, George Springer.
Let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 11-year-old Braden from Whitby, introducing George Springer, hitting in the 6th spot for the Blue Jays today. First pitch from Eflin. Springer takes low, ball one.
And right on cue, that last fastball to Justin Turner was just 90 miles an hour, but you can see the location of it was in off the plate, and he struggled getting the hands through. It's almost like he's tired. That's what it seems like to me, swinging the baseball bat. He's just been a long season already for him.
Swing and a miss by Springer, 1-1. Well, Turner did have to deal with the illness that a lot of guys have dealt with recently. 1-1. Swing and a sharp grounder picked up at third by Paredes. Throw over to first. There are 2 outs.
Now batting, number 9, Danny Jansen.
Again, that's Braden from Whitby, our 11-year-old future announcer. He's got some grit in that voice, though. You know?
I was just thinking
it's a little like Rod Stewart in that
Sounds
voice.
like a country singer.
Here's Danny Jansen. The first pitch to the catcher is called strike one. 2 outs and the base is empty. 0-0 bottom of the second. Blue Jays led off their day with a double in the bottom of the first. 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. But Eflin's retired 5 in a row. 3 ground outs, a pop out, and a fly out. Right-hander's pitch. Jansen swings late, lines it to center, base hit. Wasn't scalded up the middle, but much like his perfect game-ending hit yesterday, he gets enough distance on it for a bloop single.
Now batting, number 8, Kevin Biggio.
Kevin Biggio to the plate for the Blue Jays, today's third baseman and a left-handed hitter. Placed in this lineup against the right-hander, Zach Eflin. First pitch. Biggio takes strike one. Biggio broke somewhat of an extended slide yesterday with a pinch hit RBI single in the 8th inning. 0-1. Biggio rolls over a ball to second, gobbled up by Rosario. Sidearm toss to first to end the inning. Blue Jays come up with a 2-out single, but Danny Jansen stranded on first. No runs after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Malton and Milton. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score, Blue Jays and Rays, top of the third. Alex Jackson leads off for the Rays. He bats right-handed, as all 9 Rays do in the starting lineup today. First pitch from Gausman is called strike 1. Ninth game of the season for Jackson at the major league level. 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2. And it's been a struggle so far for the catcher up from AAA. He is 1 for 20 on the year. His one hit, a double, 2 RBIs, but more concerning maybe, 15 strikeouts in 20 at-bats. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ball in the dirt, tag applied by Jansen. 1 down.
That was a great sequence right there, finishing him off with a split finger out of the zone. A guy's 1 for 20. You don't mess around. You throw strike 1, then you expand the zone. And Kevin Gausman right there with the perfect split finger just underneath the bat of Alex Jackson.
With Jackson retired, Jose Siri steps up to the plate, the number 9 hitter and center fielder. Gausman kicks and delivers. Foul tip off of the glove of Jansen, 0-1.
Alex Jackson was the 6th overall pick in 2014. Has a career average of 131.
Spent all of 2023 at AAA, but up recently with the Rays. The 0-1 to Jose Siri. Hit foul on a line and off the retaining wall down the left field line. 0-2. It's been a tough start offensively to this season for Jose Siri, who's batting 174. Does have 4 doubles and 3 homers. 0-2. Check swing. Pitch was low. Appeal down to first. No swing, says Stu Sherwater. So we'll continue at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bright pink sleeve for Jose Siri on his right arm. White batting gloves. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 95 right past him. 2 strikeouts to start the top of the third.
Another perfect sequence from Danny Jansen and Kevin Gausman. There's probably, about 7 or 8 pitches where Kevin Gausman's stuff was way down, and now it's way back up.
And it's interesting. He often, tops out in the mid to high 90s, like 97-ish. First to pitch here to Yandy Diaz, who has the lone Rays hit today. He takes it down and away, ball 1. It's usually like, okay, occasionally he's 97 and sometimes he's 92. Today he's occasionally 95 and sometimes 90 or 89. But it's worked for him still, that method of changing speeds, even on the fastball. 1-0. Ground ball hit to the left side. A dive from Bichette, and it's passed him into left field. A base hit. Second time that Yandy Diaz has rolled the ball to the right spot, but that's how you win a batting title last year. He's 2 for 2 and is aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, he didn't hit that ball all that hard, but hits it in the perfect spot in the hole on the left side of that infield. A decent slider down in the zone, but Yandy Diaz just goes down and gets it. And, hey, baseball's a game of luck. You find a hole like that, and like you said, you win a batting title.
Diaz hit .330 last year, entered this game batting .250, but his average creeping up week by week. Here's Randy Arozarena, who's 0 for 1. First pitch, called strike 1. On the Gausman stuff, were you ever not throwing your hardest fastball?
Absolutely not. I was 100% every single pitch. That's probably why I was hurt so often.
Here's Gausman's 0-1. Inside, 1-1.
I actually find it interesting. There are a lot of pitchers that do that can throw a fastball at 91 and then they gas it up and they're 95, 96. Like Kevin Gausman has shown us this season. I would love to pick his brain and ask him why he does that or why he feels he can be more successful that way.
Swing and a miss on 95, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, you know where to find him tomorrow.
Nah, it's Sunday.
He's around.
No interviews on Sunday.
No, Schneider's not around. He's around. Runner on first, 2 down, no score, top of the third. Gausman reaches back, fires, and Arozarena lifts it down the right field line. Springer waving his glove in the air, curls toward the corner, and it just bounces off the railing and into the seats. No play there for George. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Was Springer calling somebody off like it was his ball? There was nobody near him.
I mean, Vlad went way into right field a couple of games ago, maybe.
Davis Schneider was 150 feet from him.
Yeah, it's a tough one to figure out. Sunlight pouring over Rogers Center right now, everywhere but center field. The 1-2. Lifted to right, fairly deep. Springer backing up near the corner, has a play, and makes the catch inside fair territory and ends the inning. A 2-out single by Yandy Diaz is all the Rays get in the top of the third. It's still scoreless. Headed to the bottom half. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. Let's go! We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We're talking college basketball on ACC Today.
Great run for NC State men's basketball. The story of this team is one I don't think anybody will forget.
They were able to accomplish a lot. They captured the hearts and the minds of the nation. DJ Burns became an absolute star nationally. I love it.
ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timbermart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know-how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, 0-0, bottom of the third. Kevin Kiermaier leading off for the Blue Jays, and the first pitch is skipped to the backstop, 1-0. Eflin's next offering. Kiermaier jumps out of the way of a pitch at his ankles. 2 balls and no strikes. Blue Jays center fielder hitting .225 to start the year, a homer, 7 RBIs. The 2-0. Fouled back, 2 balls and 1 strike. Kiermaier got in the game late yesterday, was a pinch runner in the 8th inning, and stayed in defensively in center in the 9th. 2-1. Hits it foul off to the left, 2-2. Here's the right on left pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kiermaier goes down on the curveball, and there's 1 out here in the top of the third, and Zach Eflin has his first strikeout of the game.
Yeah, he has such a tough curveball, almost a 12-6er, starts that thing on the inside part of the plate and just breaks out of the strike zone. Kevin Kiermaier has had a tough time with those curveballs, those sliders all season long.
Davis Schneider steps in, takes a pitch inside, 1-0. Schneider with a double in the first inning, led off that inning, but ended up being stranded on third, 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball, center field, fairly deep, over to left center. Jose Siri camps under it, makes a 2-handed catch, 2 outs. Here comes the left-handed hitter Dalton Varsho with 2 outs and the bases empty. 0-0, Blue Jays and Rays, bottom of the third. Eflin winds and offers. Varsho takes strike 1.
Did Varsho change his walk-up song?
No, I believe he has a first time up walk-up song and a second time up walk-up song, which actually a sneaky number of them do. 0-1. High, 1-1. There has been a big change, though. A lot of guys have changed their walk-up songs recently.
Well, you're not hitting well. You change your walk-up song. That's
fair.
Exactly.
A lot of mustaches being grown recently.
Yeah.
1-1. Swing and a very high fly ball, not very deep to right field. Down the line, the second baseman Rosario catches it as he tight ropes the foul line and ends the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3. We're scoreless a third of the way through this game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Nobody covered the 2024 schedule release like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs will kick off the 2024 season.
What a night. The 2 best quarterbacks in all of football.
Jets at 49ers.
This Jets football team, they want to win. They want to win now.
NFL VP of Broadcasting, Mike North.
Christmas Wednesday. I think we picked the 4 right teams. Hopefully by the time we get there, we're proven right.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+ play responsibly, Ontario only. No score, Harold Ramirez leads off for the Rays, and Kevin Gausman's first pitch is hit into center field. Kevin Kiermaier stutter steps, move to his left, and makes the catch. 1 out. I'm Ben Schulman alongside the former Pirate, Marlin, and Yankee, although I got the order wrong, Chris LaRue.
And you forgot about the Yakult Swallows.
I did forget about the Yakult Swallows.
The NPBL.
And the, not Katuitt, you were Falmouth Commodores.
Do you know what the NPBL stands for?
The Nippon Professional Baseball League?
All right. You do know everything.
There we go. 1 out, and the pitch to Isak Paredes. Called strike 1. Well, I mentioned those teams to say, let's look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. First, the 0-1 pitch fouled off by Paredes, and it's 0-2. I will not be checking on any Nippon Professional Baseball League scores. I apologize.
I believe it's pronounced Nippon.
Okay. I'm gonna take me at least getting like the spelling right to the bank.
All right.
But I will pronounce it correctly going forward. 0-2. Hit foul down the right field line into the seats. One final today already. The New York Yankees beating the Chicago White Sox 6-1. Juan Soto with a pair of home runs in that game. Homered in the first inning, and then came back up in the second, actually knocked in another run, and then homered later in the fifth. The 0-2. Swinging a high fly ball, center field. Kiermaier racing back at the track, leaps at the wall, and it bangs off the wall above his head and gets down on the turf. Paredes stops at second with a 1-out stand-up double.
I thought for a split second that Kevin Kiermaier had a beat on that baseball. It almost looked like he mistimed the jump just a little bit. Up against that wall in center field there. He's probably disappointed with himself that he didn't come up with that baseball. Yeah, he jumped just a little bit and hit off the heel of his glove.
Yeah, almost overjumped it slightly.
Yeah.
So now a runner on second after the double. Here's Johnny DeLuca. First pitch is called strike 1.
So kind of to expand on your Juan Soto 2-homer day.
Yeah.
I went to my nephew's baseball game this morning. It was Leaside versus the Mississauga Majors.
Nice.
And every single player is hitting like Juan Soto now.
A 1 pitch in the dirt blocked by Jansen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Paredes stays at second. What do you mean by that?
Every single guy, the way they stand in the box, their swing, their approach, everything is Juan Soto. This guy is just running the baseball world right now.
It's fair.
And then he goes out and hits 2 homers.
Who did you hit like when you were...
John Olerud. He was my guy. Yeah, I played first base for the Mississauga North Tigers.
I was the first baseman for the Thornhill Reds, a little less successful. 1-1 pitch, bounce foul, 1-2.
Nobody does the Soto shuffle, though. I think that's a little bit much.
Yeah, I don't think in the leagues I played in, people would have been very nice to you if you did the Soto shuffle. There's still a lot of unwritten rules, it seems, in kids' baseball.
Yeah.
No score, top of the fourth. 1 down and a runner on second. The 1-2 pitch. Inside, Johnny DeLuca moves out of the way, 2-2. Elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, your Pirates are in a 0-0 deadlock right now with the Cubs in the 8th inning. 2-2 pitch coming from Kevin Gausman. Bounced foul. DeLuca fouled it off himself. Still 2-2. Really good pitching matchup there. Bailey Falter went up against Shota Imanaga, and they both went 7 shutout innings. Falter might still be in the game when the bottom of the 8th starts, but Imanaga is out after 7. 2-2 again. And again hit foul. Mariners-Orioles was supposed to start, but this game's been delayed due to inclement weather. I believe they're going to start at 4:05. but that's still up in the air. The former Oriole, Kevin Gausman, deals to the former Dodger, Johnny DeLuca, and it's fouled off to the right.
Yeah, they were trying to elevate there with that fastball. Good fastball, 95 on the outside part of the plate, just off the plate. But you could see Danny Jansen with that elevated target. Kevin Gausman missed his spot by a good bit.
Gausman stares out at second, delivers home, and it's fouled off again.
That's a good pitch right there. That's where they were trying to go with that previous pitch. Fastball just at the top of that strike zone. Johnny DeLuca just gets a bit of it and fouls it back.
DeLuca's fouled off 4 two-strike pitches in a row. Gausman's 2-2 again. Swing and a soft liner off the glove of Bichette, and it bounces behind him into shallow left. Taken off for third. Paredes to throw. They got him. Just how they drew it up. It bounces past Bichette. He recovers and throws out the lead runner. Paredes cut down, trying to go second to third. DeLuca is safe at first. There are 2 outs.
Well, that wasn't smart base running from Isaac Paredes. He thought that ball would get further away from Bo Bichette than it did. Dribbles probably 10 feet from Bo. He picks it up and throws Isaac Paredes out at third base easily. Tough base running there.
Kevin Biggio applied the tag on Paredes. And now Ahmed Rosario is up with 2 outs and a runner on first. Throw over to first. DeLuca back safely. DeLuca was called safe at first, by the way, on a fielder's choice. He's got a lot of speed over at first base. 2 stolen bases in 13 games this year. First pitch, and a swing and a miss by Ahmed Rosario, 0-1.
Wait, that's a fielder's choice? I could be wrong, but I feel like that's a base hit.
So if Paredes doesn't try to advance, now it's up to the scorer's discretion there. But if Paredes doesn't try to advance, it's likely a base hit.
Interesting.
0-1, DeLuca takes off, swing and a miss. Throw down to second, not in time. Pretty good throw by Danny Jansen, but DeLuca with his speed swipes his 3rd bag of the year.
Kevin Gausman isn't the quickest guy to the plate. Generally speaking, he has that normal leg lift. It's kind of slow, doesn't really slide step all that often, and DeLuca steals that bag with ease.
Gausman will flip the baseball away that landed in the dirt.
Actually, a good throw from Danny Jansen right to the chest of Bo Bichette. Or was that David Schneider?
That was David Schneider. So runner on second once again. 2 outs now and 2 strikes on Ahmed Rosario. Scoreless game, and the pitch in the dirt, good block by Jansen, 1-2. On the fielder's choice, so it is a little bit up to the scorer's discretion. But because Bo Bichette turns to third rather than throwing to first, I guess the justification there is they're saying that he never tried to go for DeLuca because he was trying to go for someone else.
If I'm Johnny DeLuca, I'm not happy with that.
No.
That's an easy single.
DeLuca on second, trying to score on a single. Rosario at the plate, 18 RBIs this year. 1-2 pitch, cut on and miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the splitter low. 5 Ks for Gausman in 4 scoreless innings. 1 hit and 1 left on. Middle of the 4th, still searching for our first run at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Which
Which Looney Dogger are you? The Fork and Knifer, Splatterer, Condiment Queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
I give you the world, but there's other planets too.
Hola, soy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Está escuchando a Toronto Blue Jays Baseball en la radio de Sportsnet.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads off for the Blue Jays, trying to break this scoreless game in the bottom of the fourth inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Here's the pitch from Rays starter Zach Eflin. Called strike one. Vlad grounded out to second in the first inning. The right-on-right pitch. Swing and a line shot headed toward the left field corner, down and bouncing into the wall. Guerrero around first, loses his helmet, trying for second. The throw, not in time. Head first dive for a leadoff double for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I tell you what, we've heard rumblings that this team is boring to watch, but that right there is exciting. That is exciting baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. loses his helmet, rumbling into second base, and then makes a dive like Superman into second base, and just beats that throw from Arozarena.
Pulled the little swim move, pulled the right hand back, extended the left hand. Here's Bo Bichette now, runner on second and no outs. First pitch. Swinging a fly ball, right field, not super deep. DeLuca makes the catch. It's not deep enough for Vladdy to advance, and there's one out.
And here we go again. We saw that in the first inning where David Schneider hit a leadoff double, and he was stranded at third base. And now Vlad with that leadoff double. What are the Blue Jays going to do? Are they going to get him in, or are they going to just squander another opportunity to score a run here?
Blue Jays did this yesterday. Chris Bassett was really good early on. Shut out the Rays through the first 5 innings, but Toronto didn't come up with a base runner then. Today searching for their first run in a 0-0 game. Here's Justin Turner, the pitch. Turner takes strike one. 16 RBIs this year for Justin Turner. Hitless in his last 22 at-bats, though. Last RBI came on May 4th in Washington. 0-1 pitch, hit on the ground to third. Guerrero trying to advance immediately. He'll get to third, but the throw over to first by Paredes is in time. Isaac Paredes playing very deep as he did often yesterday, and Vlad capitalized on it to move up 90 feet. There are 2 down.
That is some incredible base running from Vlad. Isaac Paredes was playing way back, almost at the cut of the outfield grass there, and Vlad knows that. Normally on a ground ball to third base, somebody on second base, you're not advancing to third, but Vlad with such a high baseball IQ move there.
Here's George Springer, first pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle into center field. Guerrero jogs home, Springer around first. He's got an RBI, and the first Blue Jay run of the day, 1-0 Toronto. Moving down to the 6th spot, doesn't face George Springer as he picks up his 7th RBI of the season. And the Blue Jays have 4 hits and now a run today. 2 down, Danny Jansen to the plate. Springer dives back to first as Eflin throws over.
The most important thing that I saw in that swing from George Springer was that he was trying to use the big part of the field. He wasn't trying to pull off you see that front shoulder go flying a lot of the time with George Springer. Right there, he stays on that hanging breaking ball and drills it up the middle.
Jansen hits a ball to left field, sinking toward the corner. Fair ball! Springer turned around third. He'll get the stop sign there. Jansen into second. The relay throw came in quickly from Randy Arozarena, but it's a double for Jansen, and the Blue Jays have second and third with 2 outs.
And just like that, this team is exciting to watch. Are you not entertained, Ben?
Oh, I'm plenty entertained. I am plenty entertained. We'll have a quick stoppage in the action. Kyle Snyder's going to go talk to Zach Eflin. The Blue Jays with a pair of doubles this inning, one from Vlad and one from Danny Jansen, and George Springer with an RBI single as well. It's 1-0 Toronto. We're here in the Timbermart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And now the Blue Jays will turn to Kevin Biggio to try and knock those runs in. John Schneider had mentioned pregame that Biggio has been working on some stuff. He has not played nearly as much or started as much recently. But while he didn't want to lean too much into one swing or one pitch, thought that he saw some of those adjustments yesterday when Biggio singled in a run for the Blue Jays in the 8th. Biggio, another one of the guys, like you mentioned earlier, that's changed walk-up songs recently. Second and third, 2 outs, the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to center. Very high, not super deep. In left center, Siri makes the call and squeezes it to end the inning. Blue Jays get on the board, though, a run on 3 hits. They leave 2 in scoring position and are up 1-0 at the end of 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, I'm James Corden, and I'm so thrilled for you to hear my show, This Life of Mine. Join me every week for incredible conversations from the biggest stars.
I'm Kim Kardashian.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Renner.
I'm Sienna Miller.
I'm Martin Scorsese.
I'm Julianne Moore.
I'm Tom Ford.
I'm Kris Jenner.
I'm Odell Beckham Jr.
Welcome.
Welcome to
This Life of Mine.
With me, James Corden. You can listen on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Stars Channel 109, or listen on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race
from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer! Yeah!
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Radio Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big, it shows. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the 5th inning. Kevin Gausman on the rubber, and the pitch to Jose Caballero is a breaking ball for strike 1. That was the slowest slider we've seen today. 78 miles an hour, Chris. Gausman's velocity has fluctuated throughout. 0-1 is roped down the left field line. Fair ball bouncing off the short retaining wall. Bichette picks it up in left. Caballero chugs for second. The throw comes in late. It's a head-first dive into a leadoff double. As far as doubles go, that ball was not actually hit very hard, only 79 miles an hour off the bat, but perfectly placed down the line by Caballero. And it seems like the Blue Jays maybe think this was foul. Home plate umpire Mark Carlson looking into their dugout now turns back to the plate. No challenge.
Yeah, I think it was mostly Danny Jansen questioning whether that... I mean, he has the best view from where he's standing. He was looking into the Blue Jays dugout, talking with John Schneider, kind of motioning with his arm to foul territory. Obviously, the Blue Jays got a replay of it and realized that ball was fair.
Gausman now deals with Alex Jackson. First pitch. Jackson shows bunt and bunts it foul down the first baseline. 0-1. The catcher 1 for 21 with 16 strikeouts this year, so unsurprising that maybe the Rays look to sacrifice the runner over. Corners are in for the Blue Jays. Guerrero on the infield turf. Biggio backs up a little bit, potentially covering third. Pickoff play at second. They got him! The Blue Jays had infielders moving all around. Caballero not paying attention as Schneider snuck in behind him, and Gausman picks him off.
What a play from Kevin Gausman. Davis Schneider, obviously that was a planned play. Kevin Gausman with the perfect throw, the quick feet. Caballero out by a good bit.
So now 1 out and the base is empty, and the 0-1 is hit on the ground foul, 0-2.
That is inexcusable. Kevin Cash is probably not very happy right now.
I mean, 1 out, you got a guy, or no outs, you got a guy trying to bunt you over. Instead, the Blue Jays erase the leadoff double. 0-2 pitch to Jackson. Outside, ball 1. We saw it a lot in the spring, though. The Blue Jays had a clear emphasis on pickoff moves to second base. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I tell you what, that was an absolute dart from Kevin Gausman to Davis Schneider at second base. Perfectly placed. Davis Schneider just applies the tag with ease.
Gausman reaches back, fires home. Check swing, pitch was low. Full count against Alex Jackson, the right-handed hitting catcher.
Definitely don't want to walk this guy. This is the guy that you just go after. You let him get himself out. Ground ball, fly ball, all of the above. But if you make a good pitch down in the zone, Alex Jackson has shown that he'll just get himself out.
3-2. Swing and a liner, left field. Varsho with a slide, and he makes the play. Very nice out and left by Varsho, 2 down.
So smooth out there. You ever seen the Trey Turner slide at home?
Oh, the spinning one?
That's what it looked like. Dalton Varsho sliding in there, kind of just popped up, nonchalant. So smooth.
His jumps, his routes, he just knows where the ball is going right as it's hit. 2 down now, base is empty. Jose Siri cuts and misses, strike 1. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Kevin Gausman's former team, the San Francisco Giants, opening up action against the Colorado Rockies right now. Scoreless game in the bottom of the first. 0-1 pitch, hit on the ground, deep short, picked up by Bo. Throw over to first, dug out by Guerrero. He got him. Bichette from shallow left, the pick by Vladdy, and all 3 outs for the Blue Jays this inning are highlight reel. 1-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 5th. Stick around. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's PGA Championship Week on SiriusXM, and you can hear all the action on PGA Championship Radio.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
We have coverage from Valhalla Golf Club with analysis, player interviews, and play-by-play coverage.
Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8th.
Hear the 2024 PGA Championship on PGA Championship Radio, Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Kevin Kiermaier with a swing to start the bottom of the 5th inning. And he gets the liner down in right field for a base hit. A dive attempt by Johnny DeLuca, but he traps it. And with one pitch, Kiermaier aboard in the 5th. Here in the Timbermart broadcast booth, I'm Ed Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's 1-0 Blue Jays over the Rays. Now a runner on first and no outs in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, if there's anybody that needs Johnny DeLuca not to come up with that baseball, it's Kevin Kiermaier.
And it just bounced in front of DeLuca's glove. Davis Schneider up to the plate, 1 for 2 with a double. First pitch, called strike 1.
And if I'm Kevin Kiermaier, I am about to steal second base. And I'm sure the Rays think that as well.
Well, they know a lot about Kevin Kiermaier, the 31st rounder by Tampa Bay in 2010. 2 stolen bases this year for the Blue Jays center fielder. Eflin fires home, and Schneider takes low, 1-1. Carlos Fablis in the third base coach's box, giving some signs, goes to his cap, his knees, his chest, his cap again, and now Kiermaier leads off first. The 1-1. Swinging a liner, headed for left center, down in the outfield for a base hit. Kiermaier around second, he wants third. The throw from Siri, way over third, and Schneider will move up to second. He almost dunked it in the dugout for the Blue Jays. The fence keeps Kiermaier at third, Schneider into second, 2 in scoring position, and nobody out for the Blue Jays.
Well, as soon as that baseball was hit, Kevin Kiermaier was thinking third base. You could see him on his horse coming around second base, and Siri had no thoughts of throwing that ball to second base. That was probably not the right throw. You got to keep that guy at first base. You really had no shot at Kevin Kiermaier at third base. He almost threw that thing in the dugout.
Davis Schneider gets second base on the Siri error. Infield in, nobody out, and the pitch to Dalton Varsho with second and third. He swings and drives the ball to left center. Siri going back over his head and bouncing against the wall. Kiermaier scores. Schneider right behind him. Varsho standing on second. A 2-run double. It's 3-0 Blue Jays. Dalton Varsho's 9th double of the season and his 20th and 21st RBIs to lead the team. 3-0 Toronto, no outs, a runner on second, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up. Eflin steps off and takes a breather, and now Alex Jackson's going to go out and talk to him. Chris, I didn't even tell you we have to do the injury report this inning.
Oh, your favorite thing to do.
Which is brought to you by Bergmanis Pryor Personal Injury Lawyers. If life is throwing you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pryor Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pryor will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. No real updates today, except they misspoke yesterday. It was a Chad Green rehab appearance today, and then it'll be Bowden Francis starting tomorrow. Could be his last rehab, unclear, and then Yariel Rodriguez on Tuesday. First pitch to Guerrero. Swinging a line shot down the right field line, slicing into the corner. It's off the wall. Varsho around third. He'll score. Throw going into second. And Guerrero is tagged out, looking for a double. He drives in. Varsho, though, and the Blue Jays take a 4-0 lead.
And you have to love the aggressiveness, but that's not the time to be aggressive for Vlad. Good base hit off the wall in right field, but you have to be watching that baseball. That took a nice bounce off the wall, and Johnny DeLuca just threw him out easily. He made a nice throw into second base, and Vlad is out by about a step and a half at second base.
So now the base is empty, one out, and the pitch to Bo Bichette.
Nonetheless,
called strike one.
Nonetheless, an RBI for Vlad. He is on fire right now.
A second hit of the day for Guerrero as well. 4 hits and 3 runs for the Blue Jays this inning. Bichette takes a pitch down and in, 1-1. 4-0 Blue Jays, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Bo searching for his first hit today. The 1-1. Swing and a bouncer that Justin Turner knocks down in the on-deck circle. Good hand-eye, 1-2. The pitch from Eflin. Swinging a looper headed toward right. DeLuca coming in, makes the catch, 2 outs. Nothing Blue Jays here on a sunny day at Rogers Center. Left fielder and center fielder Rosarena and Siri get some shade, but everyone else in the bright sun. Second day the Dome has been open in Toronto this year. First pitch to Justin Turner is called strike one. Nine hits for the Blue Jays already with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-1. High, 1 ball and 1 strike. Turner with a pop out just short and a ground out to third so far. Faces the 1-1, swings and hits it foul, 1-2. John Schneider was asked today about the struggles of Justin Turner and said that with Turner, the approach and the prep is always the same, whether he's doing great or not. So they have faith that he'll turn it soon. 1-2 hit foul, still 1-2. Also mentioned how many times he's gotten into and then out of slumps or little downturns like this before.
Well, the scouting report on Justin Turner is obviously pound him in. The Rays are just pounding him in with that sinker from Zach Eflin.
1-2. Went down and away with a breaking ball and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Springer on deck should the inning continue. The 2-2 to Turner. High, ball 3. Nobody up in the Rays bullpen. The Blue Jays have 4 runs off Eflin here in the 5th. 3-2. Swinging a liner, left field, foul. 3-4 feet wide of being an extra base hit for Justin Turner.
That's the first time in a while that I've seen Justin Turner really get the hands through on a fastball on the inside part of the plate. The only thing he could do right there is foul it off, but that was a good sign.
3-2. Foul tipped into the glove, strike 3. The Blue Jays score 3 runs in the inning, though, on 4 hits. Take a 4-0 lead to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timbermart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timbermart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timbermart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca To learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
For this life I cannot change. Hit the hills, deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning in Toronto, and the top of the Rays order. Kevin Gausman back on the mound. Yandy Diaz leads off for Tampa Bay. 4-0 Blue Jays. Right on right pitch. Called strike one. The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big, it shows. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Chris LaRue. 0-1 pitch. Bounce to the plate. Way out in front. 1 ball and 1 strike. Show Ali's our host today, by the way. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young and Andrew Adams, the technical directors. Show Ali and Daniele Franceschi will have Jays talk after the game. 1-1. Hot shot to the right side. A dive by Guerrero, but it's past him into right field. A base hit. Yandy Diaz is 3 for 3. He has more hits than the other 8 Rays combined. He's aboard to start the 6th.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about the fact that Yandy Diaz isn't really playing up to his standards this season, but you can't keep a guy like that down, just like you can't keep Bo down and just like you can't keep Vlad down. He'll get hot eventually, and I guess he is.
Diaz with 3 hits today, came up with 2 hits yesterday. Here's Randy Arozarena. Gausman's pitch. Fouled back through the legs of Jansen, 0-1. Arozarena is kind of getting hot in some ways, but still struggling in others, with his average in the 150s, but 8 home runs, being in the upper echelon of Major League Baseball this early. In fact, Arozarena has only 11 hits in May, but 8 of them are extra base hits, 5 homers. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Arozarena had talked about a lot in spring about bulking up. Last year he had one of his biggest power years in the first half, but lost steam in the second half. 1-1. Hit hard on the ground and through the hole on the left side. Another single. It'll roll into the glove of Varsho. Diaz up to second, and Arozarena's aboard.
That was just a 4-seam fastball about thigh high, almost at the top of that strike zone. You could see Danny Jansen was set up above that strike box. Kevin Gausman doesn't throw it quite as high as his glove, and Arozarena just drills it into left field.
First time that Gausman's allowed 2 base runners so far this game in the same inning, or to be aboard at the same time. There's Diaz on second, Arozarena on first, and Harold Ramirez up, who's 0 for 2. First pitch. Called strike 1. Ramirez spent time in the Blue Jays system, came over from Pittsburgh when the Blue Jays dealt Drew Hutchison to the Pirates, got Francisco Liriano, Reese McGuire, and Harold Ramirez back. 0-1. Downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ended up being a pretty good deal for the Blue Jays, who then flipped Francisco Liriano to Houston and got Teoscar Hernandez back in that deal. The 1-1. Ramirez hits it on the ground. Backhand side picked up by Bo at short. Throws to second for 1. Back to first, not in time. Bo had to go a long way away from second base, so the Blue Jays didn't have much time to turn to. They get the out at second. Diaz up to third, and Harold Ramirez at first after a fielder's choice.
I actually thought for a split second that Bo would try to get Yandy Diaz at third base. That was actually would have been an easier play. That ball took him into the hole on the left side of that infield, but he chose to turn and try to get the double play through to Davis Schneider at second base.
And maybe worried Biggio was still moving to the bag at third when they were trying to make that play, so perhaps that got in the head of Bichette. Danny Jansen went out to talk to Kevin Gausman for a moment before Isaac Paredes comes up. One of, if not the most dangerous Rays hitter in the order. 4-0 Blue Jays, 1 out, top of the 6th. Runners on first and third for Tampa Bay. Toronto's infield plays at double play depth. And the first pitch. Inside, ball 1. Paredes adjusting his helmet, holding the bat up to the sky, now grips it in 2 hands near his right shoulder. 1-0. In there, and the count evens up at 1-1.
Good pitch, a good fastball on the outside part of that plate. Isaac Paredes doesn't want any part of that fastball there. He's looking for something on the inside part of the plate that he can drive.
Paredes with a double to center field in the 4th. 1-1. Check swing, pitch was low, appeal to first, no swing, says Stu Sherwater, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. It's Yandy Diaz on third. He singled to start the inning. Harold Ramirez on first, who hit into a fielder's choice. Next pitch. Down and away, ball 3. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Chris's Pirates walked off by the Chicago Cubs. Christopher Morel singled after a Cody Bellinger double. Bellinger scores to win the game. 1-0 the final there. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. In Toronto, it's 4-0 Blue Jays. The 3-1. Paredes takes it. It's called strike 2. 95 on the inside edge. $15 extra base hits and 24 RBIs this year for Isaac Paredes. Open stance right side. The pitch from Kevin Gausman. Runner takes off from first. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Throw down to second, and he's safe. Davis Schneider curling to his left to make sure that didn't get away and into the outfield. The Blue Jays get Paredes. Ramirez takes second base on his 5th stolen base of the year. It's now 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs.
Yeah, a good pitch from Kevin Gausman. A fastball on the inside part of the plate that Paredes just has a tough time swinging through, but that wasn't. I would not have thrown that baseball if I was Danny Jansen. There was a lot of tail to that throw. What a play from Davis Schneider corralling that baseball.
Schneider just giving up on trying to tag there and making the safe play of keeping it in the infield. Now Kevin Gausman will kick up the leg and turn around, look at second base, and check on the runner Ramirez, but he does not throw. 2 outs, 2 in scoring position. Johnny DeLuca's up. 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fielder's choice. First pitch. Hit foul, bouncing toward the Blue Jay dugout. Speared on the front railing, I believe, by Justin Turner. 0-1.
And there is an open base at first base, so you don't want to nibble here. You don't want to be too careful, but you still want to make good pitches to DeLuca.
For Gausman, he could be nearing his day's end at 90 pitches. The Blue Jays have 2 relievers up. Next pitch to DeLuca, fouled back. 0-2.
Now you're up 0-2. You really expand the strike zone. Either throw something hard up out of the strike zone, about letter high, or something in the dirt. You got to bury this split finger here if you're going to throw one.
2 hits to start the inning for the Rays, but a fielder's choice and a strikeout have it at 2nd and 3rd, 2 down. 4-0 Blue Jays, and the 0-2 to DeLuca. They went with the high fastball, but Gausman yanked it outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Danny Jansen was set up, almost standing up with that target. And you're right, Kevin Gausman yanked it.
Kind of stole that move from Alejandro Kirk, the stand-up high fastball.
Kirk has to stand up, though.
Yeah. 1-2. In the dirt, sliding block by Jansen, who scoots to his right to keep it in front of him. 2-2. The relievers for the Blue Jays are lefty Genesis Cabrera and righty Nate Pearson, both of whom pitched a scoreless inning in yesterday's game. Interesting, Cabrera is up when all 4 left-handed hitters for the Rays are on the bench right now. Gausman in the set. 2-2 to DeLuca. Fastball hit foul to the right. And as DeLuca continues to battle. This really looks like the end for Gausman.
And we've seen this before. The last couple pitches of Gausman's outings have been his hardest. That last fastball was 97.
Guy with over 1,500 innings in his major league career knows when to save the best for last. His 2-2 again. Popped him up. Foul territory, first base side, into the seats. No play for Jansen, and it's still 2-2.
Yeah, DeLuca doing a good job of fighting and staying alive. Two tough fastballs just at the top of that strike zone. Both of those fastballs were clocked at 97 miles an hour. Pitch number 94 and 95 of the day for Gausman.
And this will be pitch number 8 of the plate appearance. Gausman to DeLuca. Here it comes. Fastball just low. Full count. So Johnny DeLuca, who worked a 9-pitch at-bat last time he was up, will face a 9th pitch this time, and it'll be Gausman's 97th. The right-hander adjusts his cap, comes set, takes a breath, and the pitch. Down and away, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
The tough thing about that last pitch, that split finger, is that it looked like a ball out of the hand. No big league hitter will swing at that, will offer at that pitch, especially when it looks like a ball out of the hand. You have to throw that thing in the strike zone and then have it break out. And here comes John Schneider. Sorry, Pete Walker.
No, Pete Walker.
Yeah, they look the same from up here.
It's a code.
We're far away. We're far away.
It's a code yellow. So Pete Walker talking to his pitcher right now. The Blue Jays continue to have Nate Pearson and Yenesis Cabrera get loose, although both are kind of standing around in left field right now as they've been warming up for the entirety of that marathon DeLuca at-bat and a little bit before that as well. Home plate umpire Mark Carlson is walking out to the meeting on the mound where the entire infield and Pete Walker were. Walker will skip and jog off the mound, and Gausman looks to end the inning here against Ahmed Rosario. Four 0 Blue Jays just extended the lead with 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Here in the top of the 6th, 2 hits and a walk have loaded the bases for the Rays, but there are 2 outs. Gausman's pitch to Rosario. Check swing, liner foul, 0-1.
And again, you're ahead in the count, 0-1. You have to expand. You can't let Rosario get something fat down the middle.
He's a hot hitter right now, Ahmed Rosario. 5 hits and 3 RBIs in his last 3 games. 0-1. Swing and a liner. Hit softly to left. Varsho coming in. It's down in front of him for a base hit. 1 run in Diaz. Right behind him, Ramirez. They will stop DeLuca at second, but it's a 2-run single for Ahmed Rosario. And the Blue Jays lead is cut in half. Now 4-2, Blue Jays over Rays.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman knows that you can't just leave that split finger over the middle like he did right there. Ahmed Rosario doesn't hit that thing very hard, but it's a very hittable pitch, kind of a floating split finger, almost thigh high on the inner part of the plate. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it drops right in front of Dalton Varsho in left field.
So the Rays are on the board in the 6th. Didn't score until the 6th yesterday as well and had 3 runs that frame. 4-2 Blue Jays, 2 on, 2 out. Here's Jose Caballero. First pitch. Swing and a looper headed towards center. That's down in right center field. DeLuca will come around third. He'll score. All the way from first to third is Rosario. It's a 4-3 game. RBI single by Jose Caballero.
Another hit by the Rays, not hit very hard. It was in on the hands of Caballero. But again, another hittable pitch, a fastball in the inner part of the plate. Got in on the hands just a little bit of Caballero, but he gets enough of it just to drop it in front of Kevin Kiermaier out in center field.
For Gausman, he's now on 100 pitches. Wasn't sure he was going to make it this deep into the game. The Blue Jays have had 2 relievers up for a while here in the 6th. Gausman to face his 8th hitter in this 6th inning. It's Alex Jackson, the catcher, who's 0 for 2. First and third, 2 outs, 4-3 Blue Jays. And the pitch. Called strike 1. Caballero leads the American League in stolen bases with 17. He leads off first. On third is Rosario. Caballero takes off. The 0-1 pitch hit in the air. Right field. Springer going back into the shade in deep right. Makes the catch and ends the inning. Kevin Gausman gets through 6 to qualify for a quality start, but 3 runs put up by the Rays here in the top of the 6th inning has made it 4-3 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, it's Billie Eilish. I feel like specifically with this album, hit me hard and soft. It's just enjoying the making of it. The new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, just arrived. And I love making music. Billie Eilish Radio is here for a limited time. Channel 3, exclusively on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
It's PGA Championship Week on SiriusXM, and you can hear all the action on PGA Championship Radio.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
We have coverage from Valhalla Golf Club with analysis, player interviews, and play-by-play coverage.
Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8th.
Hear the 2024 PGA Championship on PGA Championship Radio, Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Blue Jays over Rays. George Springer leads off, and the first pitch from Zach Eflin is low ball 1. While Kevin Gausman surpassed 100 pitches through 6 innings, Eflin, who's given up more hits and more runs, just throws his 65th here to Springer. Outside ball 2. Looks like Kevin Gausman's day will likely be done. Jimmy Garcia is starting to loosen for the Blue Jays, and the 2-0 to Springer, swinging and it's 2-1. Springer with an RBI single in the 4th started the scoring in this game. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Out in front of the sweeper, and it's 2-2.
That front shoulder went flying. That was kind of what George Springer has been doing all season long, trying to get too big there on that pitch on the outside part of the plate.
2-2. Swing and a fly ball down the left field line. Hooking into the seats. It's into the sea of hands. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two. Rolled over to short, charging in Caballero. Gloves, throws on the run, beats the sprinting Springer for the first out. Head to the ballpark early on Wednesday, June 19th, as the first 15,000 fans could be lucky enough to walk away with a Bo Bichette bobblehead giveaway presented by EnterCare. Go to BlueJays.com and get your tickets today. Danny Jansen up with 1 out and the bases empty. First pitch from Eflin. In there, strike 1. A single and a double today for the Blue Jays catcher. Jansen has reached in 16 of 18 starts so far this season. 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2. Jansen behind in the count, though. No balls and 2 strikes. 6-6 righty Eflin delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Pitch was in the dirt. Jansen will start walking down the line. He says, you know what, never mind. Turns around, walks back to the dugout. There are 2 outs.
That curveball is so tough from Zach Eflin, especially because he has so much sink on that fastball. It's going in the opposite direction. And Danny Jansen way out in front of it, kind of flailing at it. Didn't even want to run to first base, just walks back to the dugout.
He thought about it, though. Then he decided not to.
Very briefly.
First pitch to Kevin Biggio with 2 outs is outside, ball 1. 4-3 Blue Jays. Bottom of the 6th. Again, Jimmy Garcia getting loose right now in left field for Toronto. Kevin Gausman standing in the Blue Jays dugout. 1-0. High, 2 balls and no strikes.
The way Kevin Gausman is standing in the dugout, kind of stretching his neck a little bit, it doesn't look like he's finished.
I just put the hoodie on, though. And there are 2 outs. 2-0. Swinging a fly ball. Right field. Backing up DeLuca. He backpedals onto the track and makes the catch to retire Biggio and the side. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3. Lead 4-3 as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timbermart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timbermart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timbermart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He dived, and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Game 2, Blue Jays and Rays. In the 7th inning, the Blue Jays lead 4-3. Kevin Gausman's day is done after 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Gausman leaves the game in line for the win, asking to hold it there. John Schneider will go to Jimmy Garcia for the 7th inning. Garcia, one of the best relievers in baseball so far, making his 17th appearance. Has an 0.53 ERA so far. Righties have hit below 100 against Garcia this season. He starts with the 9-hitter Jose Siri, the first pitch. Breaking ball in there, strike 1. The right-hander in the set, and is 0-1. Swing and a foul off. Fastball at 96, 0-2.
This has to be a tough at-bat for Garcia with that shadow. That shadow is probably about a third of the way between the pitching mound and home plate.
0-2. Foul tip off of Jansen. Hit him pretty flush. He couldn't make the catch there, so Jose Siri stays alive. Jimmy Garcia's got as deep of a mix, really, as you're going to see from a relief pitcher. Throws a 4-seamer and a sinker, a sweeper, a curveball, and a slider, and a changeup as well. Righty's 0-2. Hooked on the ground to third, picked up by Biggio in the shade. He throws into the sun to Guerrero, who stretches to make the play. They get the speedy Siri out at first. 1 down. Here comes the top of the order for the Rays, and 3 for 3, Yandy Diaz, who started the Rays' 3-run rally in the 6th. 4-3 Blue Jays, 1 out, top 7. First pitch to Diaz inside, 1-0. Garcia looks down at the mound, kicks, fires home. And Diaz takes, but it's a called strike. That looked pretty far inside, and Jimmy Garcia gets a break. Yandy Diaz with a wry smile.
Yeah, a little bit of a gift there for Jimmy Garcia, but Danny Jansen was set up inside off the plate, and he hit his glove. That's probably why they got that call.
1-1 pitch misses away, 2-1. Infield playing Diaz straight up. Shadows streaking across the diamond, as Chris mentioned. 2-1. Down and in, 3-1. You have a brief bit of sunlight from left center field all the way into the right field corner. George Springer's in sun and right. But buildings make it shady in most of the left side of the infield and even a little bit of the right as well. 3-1, inside again, ball 4. Diaz reaches for the 4th time today, and he'll go to first with Randy Arozarena coming to the plate.
Jimmy Garcia is probably not used to pitching with his own traffic on base. Usually comes in with other people's traffic, but not used to this situation.
Yeah, Garcia's given up 5 hits and 5 walks this year, and 3 of those walks were intentional. First pitch is outside to Randy Arozarena, 1-0. 4-3 Blue Jays. Top of the 7th inning, a runner on and 1 out. Outside again, 2-0.
It seems like he's yanking that breaking ball, really trying to make it move. He needs to just let it move on its own, get the good extension with that finish. Just trying a little bit too hard to make it move.
His 2-ball, no strike pitch. Popped up behind the plate, and that will get out of play easily, 2-1. Threw the sinker in on the hands there to Arozarena. Arozarena taps the plate twice, sticks his bat out towards center field, twirls it twice, and lifts it above his right shoulder. 2-1 pitch. Called strike. That looked a bit outside, and Arozarena raises his left hand in disgust to Mark Carlson. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's definitely got an argument. He goes for a walk after that call there. That is a tough pitch. Even if he swung at that pitch, he probably couldn't have done much with it.
2-2. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. Arozarena with some words to Mark Carlson. Still talking as he walks back to the dugout. Walking very slowly, but there are 2 down.
Well, that is a huge pitch, going from potentially 3-1 to 2-2. A big advantage for the pitcher after that missed call.
So now 2 down and a pinch hitter about to come in for the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going to go to Jonathan Aranda here, a left-handed hitter, in place of Harold Ramirez. A lot of buzz in the ballpark. Blue Jays with a 4-3 lead. Also smells like someone just opened up a mountain of popcorn in the booth right now. Garcia trying to send the fans maybe to get some more popcorn and send them to the 7th inning stretch. 2 down and a runner on first. Blue Jays up 4-3, and the right on left pitch to Jonathan Aranda. In there, strike 1, a backdoor breaking ball. Lefties hitting just 103 off Garcia, a little bit better than righties. 0-1. High, ball 1. Aranda yesterday got the start and went 1 for 4. Diaz with a slim lead off first. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Well out in front of that changeup. It's 1-2.
That was absolutely disgusting. Looked like a fastball out of the hand. Fastball, arm speed, fastball, finish. And then he just pulls the string on it. 88 miles an hour. That's a 10-mile-an-hour difference. That is huge.
It's a pitch that he throws the least of all 6 of his pitches, and it's very nasty. Only uses it to left-handed hitters. The 1-2. Off the end of the bat, a fly ball, foul, and into the seats. That made a really awkward noise off the end of Jonathan Aranda's barrel. Garcia in the set. 1 on, 2 out. The 1-2. Hit in the air down the left field line. Curling toward the corner. Varsho stops and makes the catch to end the inning. A 1-out walk allowed, but nothing else from Jimmy Garcia, who shuts down the Rays in the 7th. It's 4-3 Blue Jays as OK Blue Jays rings out at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
How can Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano improve on his already iconic entrance from the bullpen? Tim Meza and Eric Swanson had their own thoughts.
Hear me out. We shoot you out of a cannon. Picture this. Gate opens and you ride in on a moose. One word, roller skate. Super trendy right now.
Romano's thoughts?
I appreciate the ideas, but I got this.
On Monday, May 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
So that's a no on the moose?
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at Desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Eric Swanson. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Big time in a small town.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays trying to even up a series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and they lead 4-3 right now. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Zach Eflin is done, and the veteran Erasmo Ramirez takes over in relief for Tampa Bay. Righty's first pitch to Kevin Kiermaier is low, ball 1. Kiermaier 1 for 2 today, a single in the 5th, the start of a 3-run rally for the Blue Jays. 1-0. Called strike. These two teammates for a couple years in Tampa Bay. Ramirez was a Ray from 15 to 17, and now in 2023 and 24. Next pitch to Kiermaier, hit foul, and it's 1-2.
That shadow is moving quickly. It started at the top of the 7th, almost in front of the pitcher's mound, and it is almost all the way through home plate.
Next pitch, Kiermaier serves foul into the Blue Jays' third base dugout. Still 1-2. Kiermaier's in the sun, but the plate just ahead of where he's standing is pretty much in the shade. Ramirez in the set. The Nicaraguan right-hander delivers home, and Kiermaier lifts it to shallow center. Series started right now, comes in and makes the catch. 1 out. Zach Eflin was the starter for the Rays today, but he was done at the start of this bottom of the 7th. An okay day for Eflin. He did salvage it. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. It is the 7th time this year that Eflin goes 6+ innings and does not walk, 5+ and does not walk a batter. First pitch to Davis Schneider, hit in the air to left. Hanging up for Arozarena. He'll make the catch. 2 down.
And I believe that broke Davis Schneider's bat. Kind of a weak fly ball to Arozarena in left field. A good fastball on the inside part of the plate, almost at the hands of Davis Schneider, and his bat breaks.
So 2 down now. Here's Dalton Varsho. Blue Jays up 4-3, bottom of the 7th. Nate Pearson is warming up to potentially come in for the Blue Jays in the 8th. First pitch to Varsho, called strike 1. Quick look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The San Francisco Giants up 6-3 on the Colorado Rockies. Bottom of the 3rd. 0-1. Varsho takes in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. And in sunny Miami, Florida, it's the Mets and the Marlins tied at 2. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Varsho in the shade now as a hitter. And the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. The right-hander Erasmo Ramirez in his 13th Major League season. Sets, kicks, fires, and Varsho hits it foul, 2-2. Dalton Varsho 1 for 3 today. Drove in a pair of runs on a double to center in the 5th. 2-2 pitch. Swinging a fly ball, right field. High and deep, but not deep enough as DeLuca runs to the track and makes the catch to end the inning. 3 flyouts in the 7th produced by Erasmo Ramirez. It's a 4-3 game as we go to the 8th at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey everybody, I'm former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Indy 500 winner and current IndyCar driver Alexander Rossi. And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi.
Look guys, it's May, which means the biggest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500, is almost here. So make sure you join us every Monday and Thursday throughout the month as we bring you all the content you could ever want to prepare you for the most exciting day in racing.
So download Off Track now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription? What? Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Radio Network.
Tuesday Night Baseball at Rogers Center has a special treat. Looney Dogs Night presented by Schneider's. On Tuesday, May 21st, have a night of fun, including our hot dog teeter-totter and, of course, $1 hot dogs. Get tickets today at bluejays.com/Looney Dogs. Top of the 8th inning, Blue Jays holding on to a 4-3 lead over the Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Nate Pearson enters the ballgame for the Blue Jays. 4-5-6 for the Rays, starting with the dangerous Isaac Paredes. Pearson's pitch. Bounce to the backstop, 1-0. Nate Pearson pitched the 9th with the Blue Jays trailing 4-3 rather than leading 4-3 yesterday. Struck out the first two he faced in a 1-2-3 ninth. Righty's 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fastball over the heart of the plate, 1-1.
Good fastball right there against probably the Rays' best hitter in Isaac Paredes, at least right now.
Riding a 17-game on-base streak, the longest of his career. 1-1. Fouled back. 1-2. Paredes loves to turn on the ball as well. His 31 pull-side hits this year, so hits to left field for the right-handed hitter, are fourth most in Major League Baseball.
He loves that fastball on the inside part of the plate. Nate Pearson just threw 2 fastballs to Isaac Paredes on the outside part of the plate.
1-2 pitch, off speed, and he fouled it off. That was the slider from Nate Pearson. Paredes grounds it foul to the left to make it 1-2 still. Almost the whole diamond now covered in shade except for a streak from left center to the right field corner of Sun. 1-2. Check swing from Paredes on a slider down and away. He did not go around. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Not a bad pitch right there. A slider that started a little bit off the plate. Isaac Paredes does a good job holding up.
Pearson kicks, delivers home. Missed inside with a fastball. Full count. For Nate Pearson, it's his 18th appearance of the season. In 15 innings, he has an ERA at 4.8. 18 strikeouts to 7 walks. Righty's 3-2. Hit to center field on a line. Kiermaier on the run toward right center. That's down for a leadoff single. Second hit of the day for Isaac Paredes, and the tying run is on base here in the top of the 8th.
And this is where Nate Pearson tends to speed up. The heart rate kind of speeds up. You get some traffic on the bases. He tries to be too quick to home plate. They're going to pinch run right here for Isaac Paredes. So you're hoping that Nate Pearson doesn't try to get too quick. He still has to make good pitches here to Johnny DeLuca, who is a good hitter as well.
Richie Palacios has entered the game, running for Isaac Paredes. Paredes' day ends at 2 for 4 with a double and a single. And now you have speed on first in Palacios and speed at the plate in Johnny DeLuca. First pitch. Hit in the air, left field, very deep. Going back, Varsho turns. That ball's into the bullpen. It's gone. A 2-run homer for Johnny DeLuca. And the lead is gone for the Blue Jays. From 4-0 up, they trail 5-4 in the 8th.
I don't have a problem right there with the pitch choice. It's just the fact that Nate Pearson tried to be too quick with Palacios at first base. You could see it in his leg lift. He barely got that foot off the ground. And then because of that, the arm kind of drags, and the fastball ends up being thigh high right down the middle, not where he wanted that pitch. And Johnny DeLuca, again, he's a good hitter.
First pitch to Ahmed Rosario. Strike 1.
Hits a bullet over the fence in left field. Just a fastball right down the middle. Johnny DeLuca doesn't miss it.
Second home run of the season for DeLuca. 5-4 Rays. The 0-1 to Rosario is outside 1-1.
That's got to be so deflating for that Blue Jays dugout.
Next pitch from Pearson. Fouled off. 1-2. Blue Jays used Jimmy Garcia in the 7th inning, targeting the top of the order. And wanting to save Jordan Romano for the 9th inning, go to Nate Pearson in the 8th. A single to start it, then a home run. 1-2. Rosario fouls it off.
We thought that Jimmy Garcia might come out just to face Isaac Paredes. I mean, it's asking a lot for Jimmy Garcia, somebody who's thrown a lot this season and is coming off injury.
Sorry about that. I thought maybe Romano would just come in the 8th inning. It's 4-5-6.
Yeah.
Next pitch to Rosario, pounded into the ground toward third. Tough play. Biggio charging, can't make the transfer. Probably doesn't get the out anyway. It's an infield single for Rosario.
Yeah, he's not making that play anyways, even if he comes up quickly and cleanly with that ball. Ahmed Rosario with decent speed there.
Tim Meza and Trevor Richards warming up for the Blue Jays right now.
And again, you get some traffic, you get a close game like this. Nate Pearson tends to speed up just like he did with Johnny DeLuca, and you hope that he doesn't try to get too quick here and leave one out over the middle like he did.
First pitch to Jose Caballero, high ball 1. Nate Pearson's given up single, homer single, and the Blue Jays lead that was 4-0 after 5 is gone. They're down 5-4, top of the 8th. Still nobody out and a runner on first. 1-0. Called a ball. Appeal down to first. He swung. And maybe Stu Sherwater there also seeing the horrific miss on that pitch. That's way in the zone. It's 1-1. .66 righty Pearson sets at the chest. A leadoff first from Rosario in the pitch. Swing and a miss by Caballero, 1-2.
And look, this is still a ball game. You're only down by 1 run. Just because that was a deflating home run doesn't mean the game is over. You still have 2 full at-bats.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead off for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. 1-2 pitch. Check swing, pitch outside, appeal to first, no swing, 2-2. Can't think of a better way to close out the long weekend. Be at Rogers Center this Monday as the Blue Jays take on the White Sox for a 3:07 first pitch and be one of the first 15,000 fans to be walking away with a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. Visit bluejays.com/jerseys. 2-2. Popped up, right side, foul territory, into the seats. Jason Adam warming up on the Tampa Bay side, the setup man for the Rays. Trevor Richards throwing for the Blue Jays right now. Tim Meza standing right now, not warming up actively. 2-2. Fastball low, full count.
He's just so erratic with his fastball location when there's somebody on base. It's just he's trying to be too quick. I wish I could phone him right now and be like, hey, man, just throw a good pitch. Make this guy.
3-2, runner takes off. Swinging a ground ball, foul. And they'll do it again. Retreating back to first will be Ahmed Rosario.
Make this guy get himself out. You don't need to give him any favors. You don't need to give him a fat pitch right down the middle. And yes, Ahmed Rosario has speed, but the most important thing here is getting that out at home plate.
Nobody out, runner on first, 5-4 Rays over Blue Jays, top of the 8th. 3-2 pitch, runner takes off again, it's low ball 4. John Schneider is standing near the top of the dugout right now. But Nate Pearson, no, Schneider's going to come out of the dugout right before the batter Alex Jackson comes up. Pearson faces 4 batters, gives up 3 hits, including a homer and a walk, and gives up the Blue Jays lead. 5-4, the Rays lead the Blue Jays with nobody out. Runners on first and second in the top of the 8th. Let's go to today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this afternoon. Daniele Franceschi is down here at the Rogers Center with me. He and I will have the post-game show. You can send us a text at any time, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. I will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. All right, on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, if you missed the news from yesterday, the Leafs have officially named Craig Berube the 32nd head coach in team history. His introductory press conference will be Tuesday, May 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern. So Tuesday's programming on Sportsnet 590 The Fan will be slightly altered. Blake Murphy will have JSOC Plus from 10 to 11 Eastern. And Merrick, Jeff will be on the job for an extra hour. He'll go live starting at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, and we'll cover the press conference live on his program. Speaking of the NHL, Stanley Cup playoff action continues tonight. Just one game on the go, but it's a big one. Canucks at Oilers will get going this evening. Vancouver leads the series 3-2. Edmonton trying to stay alive at home. Puck drop is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can watch it on Sportsnet and the CBC. It's hockey night tonight, and you can also listen to it, as always, with our friends in Vancouver on Sportsnet 650. There is an extended edition of Canuck Central pregame. That'll be 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 5 Pacific on Sportsnet 650, so in about 45 minutes. And Canuck Central will have you covered postgame as well. If you didn't stay up late last night, the Dallas Stars have moved on to the Western Conference Finals to double overtime. But after a Mason Marchment goal was waved off that would have given Dallas the win, Matt Duchene scoring in the second period of overtime, they win 2-1, and they'll face the winner of Canucks Oilers. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action down here at the Rogers Center. Trevor Richards now on the mound in relief of Nate Pearson. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Top of the 8th inning. Runners on first and second. No outs. 2 runs in this inning for the Rays. And here's Alex Jackson, the right-handed hitting catcher. Trevor Richards, sporting a 2.84 ERA, enters the game, and the first pitch is swung on and missed. Strike one. Corners in for the Blue Jays. Middle infield is playing just behind the baselines. They're wary of a bunt and also want to try and turn 2 here on Jackson if he hits it on the ground. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back fastballs, and it's 0-2.
I'm actually surprised that the Rays weren't trying to bunt there with nobody out and 2 guys on, runners on first and second. Those are 2 big runs out on the base paths right now.
Rays were trailing 4-0 in this game, scored 3 in the 6th, 2 here this inning on a Johnny DeLuca home run. Two looks at second, and Richards 0-2. Pop back foul just off to our right. Triples up on the fastball. A little reverse psychology with Alex Jackson. Richards usually leads with that slow changeup. Oh-2. Changeup popped up. Infield fly rule in effect as Bichette's camped under it at short. And there's one down as Bo makes the catch anyway.
Good pitch right there from Trevor Richards. A changeup. You generally don't want to throw something off speed to a guy that's struggling as mightily as Alex Jackson is, but Trevor Richards throws that good changeup down in the zone, almost out of the zone, and Alex Jackson just pops it right up.
So here's Jose Siri. 0 for 3 today, a strikeout, 2 groundouts. First and second, 1 out, 5-4 Rays top 8. Richards kicks up the leg and spins around to look at the runner on second, Ahmed Rosario. Blue Jays infield plays a bit further back. Siri is a really tough guy to double up. First pitch. Change up low, 1-0. Richards' next offering. Siri will take it for strike one. While Jose Siri might be happy that his team's on top, he's lost some playing time to the guy who hit the homer, Johnny DeLuca. Since DeLuca returned, Siri's only made 8 of 14 starts in center. 1-1. Swinging a grounder foul, 1-2. DeLuca playing right field today, but did play center field in game 1 of this series when Siri was on the bench. Richards sets at his belt, looks at second, delivers home. High with the fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, DeLuca's a good young player. He's hitting .308 now with 2 homers and 12 RBIs. He was a 25th rounder in 2019.
By the Dodgers, who have a way of turning these guys into more than they might seem at first. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Siri goes down on a changeup in the dirt. And that's the second out of the inning.
Not out of the woods yet. Yandy Diaz strolling to the plate. He's 3 for 3 with a base on balls. He's now hitting .263.
Diaz on base percentage up to .327. First and second right now for the Rays. 2 outs. 5-4 Tampa Bay, top of the 8th inning. Right on right pitch. Inside, ball 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and Justin Turner will bat for the Blue Jays in the 8th. Toronto trying to keep this deficit now at just 1. We're leading by 1 coming into this top of the 8th inning. 1-0. High and inside, ball 2. Diaz spent time in Cleveland. Long-time Ray at this point. 2-0 pitch. Low ball 3. In danger of walking Diaz here and loading the bases for Randy Arozarena. It's Ahmed Rosario on first. Jose Caballero Rosario on second. Caballero on first. 3-0 pitch. High ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Yandy Diaz. He reaches for the 5th time today. Up to third base, Rosario now at second, Caballero. And Randy Arozarena coming up with a chance to break open this game.
Once you fall behind 2-0 to a guy like Yandy Diaz, I don't mind kind of nibbling around the zone, seeing if Yandy gets himself out, and then eventually walking him like he did. You kind of just turn the page, let Yandy Diaz get to first base, and you go on to the next batter.
2 down, bases full. First pitch to Arozarena. Big swing and a miss on a change in the dirt. 0-1. One grand slam in the career of Randy Arozarena. Rookie of the year in 2021. The 0-1. Called strike with the change, and it's 0-2. Trevor Richards entered after the lead was given up with 2 already on. He's gotten 2 outs. He's walked 1. He's trying to keep it 5-4. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ball in the dirt. Jansen applies the tag. That'll do it for the top of the 8th inning. The Rays score 2 and take the lead on Johnny DeLuca's home run. It's 5-4 Tampa Bay, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man. Swing and a miss.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Vladdy with a huge stretch for the double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The Blue Jays lead is gone after a 2-run homer by Johnny DeLuca. It's 5-4 Rays, bottom of the 8th inning, and now Toronto tries to come back. And it'll start with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate against right-hander Jason Adam for the Rays. Former Blue Jay Adam kicks and delivers. And Vladdy takes a fastball high, 1-0. Small defensive changes for the Rays. Isaac Paredes was pinch run for. Richie Palacios came in the top half of the inning. 1-0 to Vlad. Called strike, 1-1. So Ahmed Rosario moves from second to third to fill in for Paredes, and Palacios will take over at second. Adam facing away from the plate, kicks and delivers, and Guerrero hooks it down the left field line, foul, 1-2. Good day today for Vlad. A double and a run scored in the fourth, and then a run-scoring single in the fifth. 1-2. Swinging a hot shot through the hole and into left center field, a base hit. Third hit of the day for Vlad. He'll round first and stop there. And the Blue Jays have the tying run aboard with nobody out in the bottom of the eighth.
That was only the 10th base hit that Jason Adam has given up this season in 20 innings.
He is really, really effective. Has been all three of his seasons with Tampa Bay. Last year was his worst year with a 2.98 ERA. This is his 22nd appearance of the year. A 1.35 ERA, 17 strikeouts to 8 walks in 20 innings. First pitch to Bo Bichette, and it hit him right on the bat. Sweeper that spun out of the hand of Adam. Despite the boos of the fans, that's both an unharmful pitch and kind of a good result for the Blue Jays, as they'll get first and second with nobody out, and Bichette appears completely fine from that 75-mile-per-hour breaking ball that hit him on the rear end.
If I'm John Schneider, I take that all day long, and I know that Justin Turner is supposed to be your run producer. He was the run producer, but the way he's looking now, the way he's looking over the last couple of weeks to 3 weeks, I think about bunting Justin Turner and getting those runners on second and third with George Springer coming up next. I know that he probably won't.
I would almost go to say he certainly won't. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but Justin Turner has 5 sacrifices in 1,577 games in his career.
Because he's always been just a great hitter.
I'm not arguing
awful.
against it.
Over the last 3 weeks, he's been awful. And if I'm John Schneider, I'm going to look at him and be like, sure, he's the guy. He'll drive these guys in, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm just going strictly by the numbers.
I'm not disagreeing with you in the premise. I just don't think it's likely because I'm not sure how much he bunts.
I agree, though. It's very unlikely.
Yeah. We'll see. Crazier things have happened. Turner up to the plate, first and second, nobody out, bottom of the eighth, 5-4 Rays. Adam looks at Guerrero at second. Bichette with a big lead off first. And the pitch to Turner. Swing and a foul ball into the seats, 0-1.
Well, my friend, you were correct. Still possible now, but with one strike, probably a lot less possible.
That would be wild. I'd give you everything in my wallet right now if he does that. Turner leaning back in his stance at the back of the box. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Jordan Romano's getting loose for the Blue Jays here. No one else is up. So maybe Richard stays in the game for the Blue Jays. Perhaps Romano even comes in if they're trailing. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Turner down on 3 pitches, and there's 1 out.
Justin Turner is now 1 for his last 28. That's the only reason why I said that he should be at least thinking about it. Maybe he did think about it.
It's possible.
Yeah. I guess.
So 1 out now. Blue Jays have the tying run on second, go-ahead run on first in the bottom of the 8th. Here's George Springer. Adam rocks back and fires. Springer swings and hits it foul, 0-1. Springer with a hit and 3 tries today. He's driven in a run. Room on the right side of the infield. The second baseman Palacios holding on the runner and the pitch. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Single by Vlad, hit by pitch by Bichette. The 1-1 to Springer, and he just went around on a fastball low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jason Adams just struck out Justin Turner on a changeup. His 1-2 to Springer. High, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good take right there from George Springer. A fastball just above that strike box. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes.
Danny Jansen is on deck for the Blue Jays. 2-2 to Springer. Check swing bouncer in front of the plate, right side. Picked up by the catcher Jackson. He throws down to first. Springer retired. Bichette up to second. Guerrero to third. Somewhat of an accidental sacrifice from George Springer. And now 2 down, but 2 in scoring position.
I'll actually take that. That's better than a strikeout right there, moving the runners up. Now you have runners on second and third with two outs. But one of your hottest hitters right now is up at the plate, Danny Jansen.
Jansen, a .317 hitter after 2 hits and 3 tries today. First pitch. High, ball 1. Jansen caught Jason Adams in 2019 when he made 23 appearances for the Blue Jays to an ERA of 2.91, was non-tendered by Toronto after the season. 1-0. Breaking ball misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Blue Jays have Tim Meza and Jordan Romano getting up right now. They're down 5-4. Bottom of the 8th. Second and third, 2 down. The 2-0 to Danny Jansen. Called strike at the top of the zone.
There's a pretty big hole on the right side of that infield. Yandy Diaz is playing kind of straight up almost, but Ahmed Rosario is almost right behind second base.
Just an inch to the right of it. 2-1. Jansen takes, and that's called strike 2. This Mark Carlson zone on both sides, to be fair, has just ballooned in the last inning. That pitch is maybe a ball and a half off the plate.
That was a huge call, going from 2-2 to now, 3-1 to now 2-2.
The 2-2 pitch. Rolled over to short. Picked up by the shortstop Caballero, who throws over to first and ends the inning. The Blue Jays put 2 on and strand him. Let's go to the 9th. 5-4 Rays over Blue Jays at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
In the 90s, prom was the bomb. And Prom Radio is back on SiriusXM with all the 90s party anthems, line dances, and cringeworthy slow songs.
You're like a dream come true, and I don't want to miss a thing.
Prom Radio, now for a limited time on Channel 105 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it up, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Just looking really for, especially the guys at the top, looking for those guys to get rolling and confident that they will. But I think once they do that and once we kind of do that, things will kind of even out the way we hope they would to start the year.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app. In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today, our producer Nick Blackmore, Andrew Adams, and Tom Young, our technical directors. Show Ali and Daniele Franceschi will have Blue Jays talk after the game. Get your texts in. I can imagine there's a lot on your mind right now. Blue Jays trailing 5-4, top of the ninth, with two left-handed hitters due up first for the Rays. Tim Meza comes on for Toronto. 21st appearance of the season for Meza, whose ERA is a hair below 7. And the first batter he'll face is Jonathan Aranda, who pinch hit for Harold Ramirez back in the 7th. Aranda came into the DH spot. Now the left-on-left pitch from Meza is hit on the ground towards second. Backhanded by Schneider. Stumbling, throws across his body on a hop in time. Nice pick by Guerrero. Nice play by Schneider. 1 out.
That was a great play from Davis Schneider. I didn't know he had that kind of range, going up the middle and throwing that off-balance throw. One-hopping it to perfection to Vlad. Good play all around. Good stretch from Vlad.
Schneider, who's made more starts at left or in left than at second, still looking comfortable there in his infield. And here comes Richie Palacios now, another left-handed hitter. First pitch from Meza is a fastball outside, 1-0. 5-4 Rays, top of the ninth. Blue Jays trying to keep it at 1. They have Biggio, Kiermaier, and Schneider due up in the bottom of the ninth. The next pitch is called strike 1. Palacios, a pinch runner in the 8th inning right before Johnny DeLuca hit the go-ahead home run. 1-1 pitch inside, 2-1. Mays on the third base side of the rubber, reaches back, fires, misses outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Eric Swanson is getting loose for the Blue Jays. The 3-1. Called strike, full count. Palacios was turning away, but he'll have to spin back to the plate. Rex Specs on the left-handed hitter. Stands straight up in his stance. 3-2 is hit to left center field, looping down over the head of Bichette. A bloop that just evades the shortstop by a foot, and maybe the millionth bloop hit for the Rays today.
Well, that was a good piece of hitting right there. Good sinker down in the zone, and Palacios just goes down and gets it. Yeah, you're right. It seems like there's been a ton of just bloop singles over the outstretched gloves of the infielders. That barely gets out of the infield.
But Palacios on now with 1 out. And here's Johnny DeLuca. Difference in the game. He takes strike 1. You mentioned DeLuca was a 25th round pick last inning. He's hitting in the 300s in the major leagues right now. At Oregon, he was hitting in the 220s in his 2 seasons. Stepping to throw over to first by Meza. Palacios back in standing.
So needless to say, he figured something out.
You draft and then you develop. That's the rule. The 0-1 off the end of the bat foul, 0-2. DeLuca had to start this year on the injured list. He was hit in the right hand in spring training in the Dominican by Garrett Whitlock, facing off against Boston. 0-2. DeLuca powers the ball to left. That's trouble again. Varsho backing up, reaches up, makes the catch on the track. Palacios went all the way to second, but he'll get back to first in time. 2 down, but another thunderous piece of contact from Johnny DeLuca.
Yeah, he is squaring almost everything up right now. He hit that ball on the screws. Varsho goes back and catches it with ease, but that was about 20 feet from getting out of here.
So 2 down, and now Ahmed Rosario. Right-handed hitter with a runner on first, Rays up 5-4. First pitch. Low ball 1. The Rays are getting left-hander Garrett Clevenger loose right now. Blue Jays do have Biggio and Kiermaier scheduled to hit first, but also pinch hitters available on the bench. They don't have closer Pete Fairbanks up. It's been a throw to first, a dive back from Palacios. Fairbanks did pitch yesterday for the Rays, but threw under 10 pitches en route to a 1-2-3 ninth and a save. Mesa's 1-0 to Rosario. Palacios takes off, pitches a strike, and the throw sails way into right center field. Getting up and headed to third, Palacios with a dive. And Davis Schneider just trying to deke the tag because that was not in his range of hauling in. It'll be an error on Danny Jansen. A stolen base for Palacios, who advances to third on an error.
Yeah, that ball was probably about 20 feet from second base on that first base side of second base, and Davis Schneider does a good job faking the tag. That just wasn't a good throw. Obviously, Danny Jansen didn't have a handle on that baseball before he threw it.
So 180 feet, Rosario advances. Or pardon me, Palacios. It's Rosario at the plate, 2 outs, 1-1 count, top of the ninth, 5-4 Rays. Mesa's pitch. Bounce softly, third base side. This is trouble, but it bounces foul, and that's a break for the Blue Jays as that swinging bunt nearly brought in a run. Instead, Palacios back to third and Rosario back to the plate.
Everybody was holding their breath right there.
I don't know what kind of deal these guys made with the baseball gods, but it's like everything they touch is trouble. Ahmed Rosario already reached on a swinging bunt last inning and hit a single off the end of the bat to left field to score a run in the sixth. 5-4 Rays, 2 outs, top of the ninth. Runner on third, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Rosario goes down. It's a scoreless ninth for Tim Mesa, and the Blue Jays look to tie at least in the bottom of the ninth. Biggio, Kiermaier, and Schneider scheduled to hit. 5-4 Rays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
First pitch swinging, Danny Jansen rocks the ball to left. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball. Show Ali with you at the Rogers Center. Jays trail the Rays 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Jays Talk will follow this afternoon. Daniele Franceschi and I will have the post-game show. You can send us a text at any time, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line is always open, and you guys know the drill, but I will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Looks like we have a couple of pinch hitters waiting to face Garrett Clevenger, IKF, and Ernie Clement standing just behind home plate. Jays trail at 5-4, heading to the bottom of the ninth with IKF striding to the batter's box. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. 5-4 Rays over Blue Jays. Like you mentioned, the Rays not using Pete Fairbanks on back-to-back days. He is somewhat recently off the injured list. They go to the lefty Garrett Clevenger, trying to pick up his third save of the season. 2 for 2 this year, and in 19 previous appearances, has an ERA around 1.5. The lefty faces right-handed hitting IKF, pinch hitting for Cavan Biggio. First pitch, inside, ball 1. Kiner-Falefa waddling back and forth in the box. Sets his feet, the 1-0. Swinging bunt right in front of the plate. Jackson calls off the pitcher, picks it up, slings it to first. Nice play by Alex Jackson, and there's one out. And now Ernie Clement, who was taking swings to start the inning, will come in a pinch hit for Kevin Kiermaier. Blue Jays were down a run in the ninth yesterday. Didn't get a base runner. Down 5-4 right now. One out, the pitch to Clement. Check swing. No, he went around, says home plate umpire Mark Carlson. It's 0-1. The lefty Clevenger sports a mid-90s fastball, a sharp slider, a sweeper, and then a sinker and cutter he uses sparingly as well. 0-1. Clement swings late and fouls it off to the right. 0-2.
Yeah, this is a tough ask for the Blue Jays to come back in this ball game against a guy like Garrett Clevenger, a guy with such good stuff, upper 90s fastball, and he really knows how to pitch. That's the difference maker with a guy like Clevenger.
Ahead 0-2. The pitch to Clement is bounced foul. Ernie has had a lot of success against lefties this year. 10 for 30 against left-handed pitching. A .333 average. He's 10 for 50 against right-handed pitching. Davis Schneider on deck. One out in the 0-2. Clement hits it foul to the right. Left on right 0-2. And Clement serves it foul to the right side once again. This one off the netting. A little bit further down the right field line. Ernie Clement has only seen strikes so far in 5 pitches, but he's fouled off 4 of them.
Yeah, that last one he fouled off was 97 down in the zone. A tough fastball from Clevenger.
Lefty works from the third base side of the rubber. Twists and deals. And another one fouled off. Clement bounces a ball foul to the left.
That's really all you can ask for in a situation like this. Just keep fouling off tough pitches. Eventually you're going to get one that you like.
Two home runs on the season for Ernie Clement. The 0-2 again. Clement pops it up to second. Big call by Palacios in shallow right makes the catch. And the Blue Jays are down to their last life here. There's 2 outs and Davis Schneider's coming up.
And look at the difference between Davis Schneider being in the leadoff spot and Davis Schneider being in the 6-hole. Now he gets the extra at bat. He comes to the plate in a big situation like this. Normally this would be George Springer.
Schneider's had a good day, 2 for 4. Doubled in the first, singled in the 5th, and came around to score that inning. 5-4 Rays. First pitch to Schneider is fouled off, 0-1. Blue Jays got off to a great start in this game. Kevin Gausman threw 5 scoreless, and Toronto scored 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th to go up 4-0. But Gausman immediately surrendered 3 in the top of the 6th, and then Nate Pearson gave up a 2-run shot in the 8th, and that's why Toronto trails right now 5-4 in the bottom of the 9th. With 2 outs, the 0-1 to Schneider. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. One. Schneider will back out of the way of a pitch on his back ankle. Jackson, the catcher, liked the location, pumping his glove out to Clevenger, but it's ball 2. And Davis Schneider's ahead in the count. Hit his 5th homer of the season yesterday. He's driven in 17 on the year. The pitch. Called strike on the outside edge. And the Blue Jays down to their final strike. It's 2-2 with 2 outs and the bases empty. Schneider steps out and back in. Clevenger stretches out his left arm, dangles it, and now tucks his hand into his glove. The 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3, a fastball at the bottom of the zone, and the Rays take the game and the series. They come back from down 4-0 to beat the Blue Jays, and they will win a series on the road here at Rogers Center.
I mean, we could talk about a lot of reasons why the Blue Jays lost this ball game, but I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest question for me is why was Nate Pearson in that ball game late? High leverage. We know that he hasn't been good in high leverage situations. You have a guy in Trevor Richards that's given up 1 hit in his last 7 2/3 innings. Why is Trevor Richards not in that ball game? I understand Jimmy Garcia pitching in the 7th inning. That was a big spot. That was probably the highest leverage situation for any reliever in that ball game. But I would much rather have Trevor Richards, who is very, very hot right now, in that ball game in the 8th inning than Nate Pearson.
The Blue Jays fall after Pearson gives up a 2-run homer. We'll talk about it on the other side and wrap it up before sending you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Daniele Franceschi. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timbermart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timbermart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timbermart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kiermaier going back to the wall. He leaps and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Blue Jays lose to the Rays 5-4, and they lose the series here at home to a divisional foe. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, today Kevin Gausman looked really, really good for 5 innings for the Blue Jays, but right at the end, the Rays seemed to get to him. He ends up going 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. What do you think the difference was in the end?
Well, I don't think there was a huge difference in the end. He was still making pretty good pitches. He got burnt by a couple of bloop base hits later in that ball game. I think he was great for the majority of this ball game. He was throwing a lot of strikes. That split finger was nasty for the most part. We saw that stretch where it was, 7 or 8 pitches where it was we were questioning the velocity. It was 89, 90 miles an hour, and then he just kicked it back up again to 94 to 97. We saw, I think his 95th pitch was 97 miles an hour. So I liked what I saw from Kevin Gausman. He held there's a lot of pressure on this starting rotation to hold every single opponent they come up against to 3 runs or less. That's almost an impossible ask. Every single game you have to have a 3 ERA essentially. And the Blue Jays made they played well today for the majority of the game. It's just the decision to bring Nate Pearson in a high leverage situation like that. We know that when he comes into games where there's a lot of pressure and it's either a 1-run game, either up or down, he struggles. He's a guy that comes into ball games 5 up, 5 down, he'll deal. But when he comes into a ball game like this, ahead by 1 run in the 8th inning, that's a tough ask for a guy that we've seen not pitch very well in high leverage situations for the majority of his career.
Well, it comes down to the middle relief struggles the Blue Jays have had all year. It was only about a week ago that John Schneider said we need someone not named Jordan Romano and Jimmy Garcia to get outs, and in leverage they haven't had that many guys that have done that so far. Chris talking about the 8th inning when Pearson comes in, gives up a single to Isaac Paredes, and then Johnny DeLuca came up with our play of the game. Here it is. First pitch. Hit in the air, left field, very deep. Going back, Varsho turns. That ball's into the bullpen. It's gone. A 2-run homer for Johnny DeLuca. And the lead is gone for the Blue Jays. From 4-0 up, they trail 5-4 in the 8th.
And I could go on for an hour about who I think should have been in that ball game. It should have been Trevor Richards. He's given up 1 hit in his last 7 2/3 innings. That's the guy that needs to be in that ball game in a high leverage 8th inning, up by 1. But I think the biggest thing is Nate Pearson struggles when guys get on base. The game speeds up, and I've said this a lot over the last 45 games or so. The game speeds up on him. You can see the heart rate kind of increases, and he tries to be too quick to the plate. And that pitch right there to Johnny DeLuca, he tried to be too quick. The arm ends up dragging, and he leaves a fat one right down the middle, a fastball that was about thigh high. And a guy as hot as Johnny DeLuca is not going to miss that pitch.
DeLuca hits a 2-run shot. The Rays take a 5-4 lead, and they do not relinquish it. The Rays pick up the win here to go to 25-22. The Blue Jays to 19-25. And the Rays score 5 runs on 12 hits, 1 error, leave 10 on in this effort. The Blue Jays 4 runs on 10 hits, 1 error, 6 left on. Erasmo Ramirez picks up the win in relief. He's 3-0. Nate Pearson has the loss. He's 0-1. Garrett Clevenger has his 3rd save of the season. 34,500 came out on a beautiful day in downtown Toronto. Very sunny, very nice here at Rogers Center, and we hope for the same coming up tomorrow when Alek Manoah tries to pitch the Blue Jays out of being swept in their own ballpark. Down 2-0 in this series. Manoah will take on Aaron Savali at 1:37. Pre-game will be at 1 o'clock, so we hope you can join us then. Game coverage starting at 1:30 Eastern. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and hope you have a good start and a good rest of your Saturday. For our technical directors, Tom Young and Andrew Adams, for producer Nick Blackmore, the host, Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue. Have a nice night, and get your calls and texts in. I'm imagining you have a lot of thoughts. Blue Jays Talk with Sho and Daniele starts right now.
Well, Daniele, I gotta say, I genuinely had some hope that the Jays would come through. I admit I honestly did. Davis Schneider was batting leadoff today. George Springer was down to batting 6th. Kevin Gausman is on the mound. And we get a Vladdy RBI. We get a good hit from Varsho, a 2-run double. Jimmy Garcia comes in to put out some fires. And yet, a shaky end to the start for Gausman. Nate Pearson gives up a 2-run bomb, a 4-0 lead, a 5-4 loss. The Jays are now 19-25. They are now 6 games under 500 mid-May, the first time they have been 6 games under 500 since 2019.
That is wild. To me, the game really turned in the span of 8 pitches.
Yeah,
8 pitches in the 8 pitches in the 8th inning. Nate Pearson. I think that's sort of where the ball game shifted, because you go there and I mean you could sort of see the story writing itself at that point. It's frustrating, Sho. Like, Jimmy Garcia comes in the 7th, and you're thinking, okay, that's fine. It's a leverage spot. You're going to need to go there. But that then puts you potentially in a position where you're going to be vulnerable either in the 8th or the 9th, depending on where you want to and how you want to deploy your bullpen. And they make the decision that rather than seeing Jimmy Garcia potentially extend and push his outing further, or even bringing in Jordan Romano in that spot, because that was the heart of the order coming up at that point heading into the 8th inning, they decide to go to Nate Pearson, and it completely backfires. And I got to be honest, Joe, like that decision was indefensible. To me, that's where the game changed, and that's where it was indefensible, because this is a guy that, even if you want to look at where we know they love their analytics, statistically speaking, he has been awful in high leverage situations. Coming into today, teams were hitting .500 against him in high leverage situations this season. High leverage, 1-run game, 2-run game. He has been bad. Objectively bad, and they threw him out there against a really good ball club that knows how to work at bats and be disciplined, and then, of course, they get burned for it.
That is Daniele Franceschi. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network, also streaming on sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app. Give us a call. Vent away your feelings. 416-870-0590. 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Text us as well, 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line, and the People's Text line is always open. I'm going to guess, Daniele, that the tone of the texts and calls are going to be very similar to last night. Not that I blame anyone, but I'm going to guess that is the case.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree with you. The Nate Pearson decision. I want to talk about the Ross Atkins presser with you a little bit as well. We got to do that, okay? Because we spent a long chunk of yesterday's post game talking about it and what to expect. And I actually see a couple of texts here already, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We got to start by talking about, or continuing to talk about, the Nate Pearson decision. And I'm sitting in here between Ben and Chris. You're sitting behind me here in the booth. And I think we were all a little baffled, especially because earlier in the outing, right? Gausman was running into some trouble. He was the pitch count was getting a little high, and you look out to the bullpen in left field, and both Yoenis Cabrera and Nate Pearson are getting loose, right?
Yes.
So you think to yourself, okay, if this outing goes really short, they have no choice but to go to one of these guys just to extend it, because you need a plan to get the ball from the hands of your starter into the hands of your high leverage relievers. And then Gausman managed to kind of grind through it. He didn't really need it at the moment, but and we can have a conversation as to whether or not they let Gausman pitch too long, as opposed to, which is not a conversation we have too much about this team. Often we're having the conversation about them getting guys out with very quick hooks, but maybe it's because he's the ace. Maybe it's because he talked them into it in between innings. Maybe he said he was feeling okay. Maybe it's because it was the bottom of the order. Probably all of those things, honestly, but he stayed out there. He gives up 3 runs, and he comes out of the game. The Jays still holding on to a 4-3 lead at this point. And so you mentioned the other moves you could have made once you saw Pearson start to get loose later in the game in the 8th inning. And I agree with you. I mean, Jimmy Garcia, I actually thought today he did not look quite as sharp as we were used to seeing from him, right? He walks a guy, and then he gets down 2-0 in the count to the next guy, and I thought, okay, I'm looking so great here, right? And you know what? We can complain about the Danny Jansen AB at the end of the game. Jimmy got helped a little bit in that AB against, I think it was Randy Arozarena, right? So, and Arozarena was not pleased.
He was not happy about it, yes.
The strike zone was not good today. Bring me the challenge review system.
And on both sides, by the way.
Yes, both
Worth
sides.
noting, both sides.
Both sides got hosed. And certainly, because the strike zone changed and expanded very late in this ballgame, especially for Danny Jansen, ended up being a not-so-great swing for Jano, and he grounds out and the inning's over with runners on second and third, right? So, obviously, that's a part of it. But ultimately, you look at Jimmy Garcia, even though he looked a little rusty or he just didn't look quite as sharp as he usually does, I kind of thought he could have come back out for, even if it was just one more out.
Yeah.
I kind of thought he could have come back out for one more out because you have that faith in Jimmy Garcia. And then, honestly, you could have just gone to Jordan Romano.
Exactly.
Right? Like
Why not?
You could have just and again, does the bullpen for this team need guys who are not named Jimmy Garcia and Jordan Romano to get them outs? Yes. That's the simple truth, right? The answer to that question is yes. But is the time to ask someone who has been shaky at best, when like the kind of sort of heart of the order is coming up in a 1-run game where you are, when in the season you're 5 games below 500? Like, I say no. And I know a lot of people don't have the most faith in Jordan Romano, but you have more faith in Jordan Romano and Jimmy Garcia than any other pitcher any other reliever on this roster. That was baffling to me. Even if you didn't want to go to Jordan Romano, you mentioned it, you could have still gone to Trevor Richards. He came in anyways.
Exactly. You burned that bullet anyway. Yeah. What was the point? It was really baffling. And desperation at some point needs to come into effect. And if this was not a desperate situation where you had an opportunity to win a ball game, throw your absolute best out there and see what they can do for you, then what is? What can we constitute as a desperate situation? Because to me today, desperation called for Jimmy Garcia staying in that ball game, and as you put it, potentially getting 1 or 2 more outs to hand it over to Jordan Romano to bridge that gap. There was no need for Nate Pearson to be in that position. and it's way out of his depth. He's not a high leverage guy. I think he's shown that. There's I mean, I know Chris was talking about it on the broadcast. You can almost see it. He oozes discomfort when he's standing on the mound in a leverage spot. It doesn't fit, and they obviously desperately got burned by that today. Gausman worked his way through things, and you're thinking, okay, and I even tweeted this out, now it's time for the bullpen gymnastics to kick in.
Yep.
And today, again, it didn't work out for them. The decision-making and how they wanted to bridge it, to get it from Garcia to Romano, it backfired, and it didn't work out. It's a tough loss for a team that is desperate for wins right now.
I see a text here on the text line, 590-590. Name and location. You are more than free to continue sending those in. We're here until the top of the next hour. Mike in Kitchener says, why do people, including you right now, blame the pitching after every Jays loss? We know the problem. They don't hit and score runs.
Yep.
That is the problem. And goes on to talk about Ross Atkins, which we'll get to, Mike. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Look, you're right. You're not wrong. Okay?
Yeah,
you're not wrong. The problem consistently has been the offense. It's just I don't know. Like I look at it twofold, I suppose, Daniele. It's not. I'm not absolving the offense. That's also a problem.
It is.
There can be more than one problem at the same time, right there. And right now, multiple problems for this team are the offense, which has been a problem all season long, and the bullpen, which has now been a problem for what? I probably most of the season, but certainly in the last couple of months, or pardon me, couple of weeks, because, like I said, they need guys not named Jimmy Garcia and Jordan Romano to get them outs, and also they need more than 4 runs, right? But I mean, generally speaking, they haven't gotten more than 4 runs
in this economy, as you tweeted,
and it's very true. Yes, Springer RBI in this economy. I was shocked, I got to say, although good for him, right? But my point is only they were up 4-0, right? Today, it was the pitching that lost them this game. In my opinion, it's certainly both things, but you're not going to go out and win like 9-0 every single game is the point.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's tricky to me. I mean, the pitching, it wasn't a collective effort. Like, it wasn't a collective letdown from a pitching standpoint. It was unfortunately one guy who couldn't even record an out. That's what did you in. So I think that's even a roster issue where we're looking at the bullpen right now.
Right.
And I think it does speak volumes because Trevor Richards has pitched very well, including today. Now he's gone 6 2/3 without giving up a hit. So he's been in great form. But even the fact that they were hesitant to go to him in that spot tells you sort of what they think of Trevor Richards on a greater scale. And we know Genesis Cabrera hasn't been great. Tim Meza's had his struggles. They're not certainly going to Eric Swanson and leverage anytime soon again. So then who are they going to in that position? And if it wasn't Trevor Richards, then clearly it was going to be Nate Pearson. I think that is a bit of a roster issue that they've got to sort of sort through right now and deal with and confront, because that's a real problem. You can't just, as you put it, rely on those 2 arms at the back end of your bullpen. And I think Gausman, all things considered, pitched quite well today. Like, I think they were being liberal with allowing him to go as deep as he could, trying to really fight to get through that 6th. Because I think John Schneider knew, boy, oh boy, I don't want to give this ball over to somebody that I don't trust. I'd much rather have him at the tail end, at the end of the tank, standing out there than and even in their mind, maybe it was even Trevor Richards. They much rather have Gausman do that. So I think it's hard to pinpoint it on one person. I do think, to the point made by Mike, I totally agree that the offense is the real root issue here. The bats were pretty good today in a lot of different respects. The final 3 innings, not great because they only produced 2 base runners. And it felt like once the Rays climbed over that mountain and took the lead, you felt like the game was over. It really did.
Yeah, honestly, once I saw the Johnny DeLuca home run, I thought to myself, I'm far from being a doomer, I would say, but once I saw that happen, I thought, we have not seen them consistently string together appearances offensively to mount this comeback, right? And I think that's also why I can get behind people who text in like, it's on the hitting, because I mean, the truth is, if you are a team that has like $220-something million in payroll, and you have World Series aspirations, and you think you can turn things around, you should probably be able to scratch out 1 run to at least, like, not even to build a bigger cushion, just to tie the game, essentially.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So in the 8th, right? So this happens in the top half. The Rays take the lead. Bottom half, you got Vlad leads it off with a single. He had another good day at the plate. Bo gets hit. So now it's first, second, nobody out.
Yep.
Turner steps up, and he's been fighting it big time.
Over
really
25 now.
Oh, that's rough, show. He's been really bad. And in that spot, I did think, and I think it was also, mentioned by Chris on the broadcast, do you consider benching, bunting, excuse me. The thing that popped into my mind, to be quite honest with you, do you consider pinch hitting for him? Do you consider, and we ended up seeing Clement and IKF in the 9th, but I thought in that spot, would you consider pinch hitting for him in inserting one of those two guys to lay down a bunt, probably IKF, because we've seen Clement struggle with that at times, but let's say it's IKF, just to be able to advance runners, because in that situation, I think you're playing for one. You have to play for one.
Yeah.
Like you said, they haven't shown any.
Or you could have pinch hit Clement there. Anyways, if you really wanted to, he's laid down a couple of good bunts.
100%. One of those two guys, I thought maybe there's a way, because, again, sample size tells us a story. Turner hasn't been good, and sure enough, what does he do? He doesn't work a productive at-bat to get the runners over. He strikes out. And then from there, the inning pretty much is done. At that point, Springer gets an opportunity, which, again, interesting to see him there. In the 6th spot, he gets huge opportunity. Didn't pay off. But I thought that was another sort of sliding doors moment in this ballgame.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. They are full. Ian in Toronto getting us kicked off here on Jays Talk. Ian, what's up?
Not much. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. What do you want to talk about today?
One thing that you were mentioning is you keep pushing Romano, but Romano's given up runs in 5 of his 11 outings this year. So it's hard to say I trust Romano, because right now it's very difficult. Though
I mean, you trust him more than Nate Pearson, though.
Yeah,
right?
No. I agree with you. I would have had Romano out there in the 8th over Pearson, especially when you've got 2 of their top hitters, the 300 hitters out there. If I'm going to lose, I want to lose with Romano on the mound over Nate Pearson, because at the end of the day, the sad truth is the guy just doesn't have it. It's just not there, and it's time to move on. But again, we don't have anything to move on to, so that's part of the issue. The other thing that I want to ask is how is John Schneider still the manager of this team? He can't pull the proper bullpen pieces out. He consistently gets that wrong. And then the lineup is completely different every day, when we all know baseball players are very familiar things. So they want the same thing over and over again. So he's constantly changing the lineup every single day. And the one issue that I had with today's lineup, David Schneider at the top makes the most sense, because the guy gets on base. Whether a walk or a hit, he's getting on base. But Varsho at number 2, again, these are small sample sizes. He has going into today, he had a 585 OPS hitting in the 2nd spot, while hitting 5th or 7th combined, he has a 615 slugging. Forget on OPS, just slugging. He's doing better there. So why move him up in the order when obviously it doesn't work? And yes, I do realize he had the double to get 2 RBI today, which I'm very happy for him. But again, put these guys in a position. If Vlad is only hitting singles, put him second, because that's where he belongs at the end of the day. The guy has no power left, and honestly, he's someone I'd be getting rid of tomorrow if I could, because there is no way I'm paying him $20 million plus next year to hit 4 home runs in 2 months. Soto now has the same number of home runs as he has extra base hits this year. So again, like the offense was meant to be built around Vlad, and that's a failure at the end of the day, because he is not the star player that everybody makes him out to be. He is above average hitting first baseman who has right now 0 power and can barely play his position, evidenced by the fact he threw away another game yesterday. He's already done that twice this year. So like at this point, if John Schneider isn't the one really calling the shots and management is, like everybody believes, then something needs to be done. Someone at the top has to start firing people. But like this is a beyond a joke. You could potentially retool and trade assets for 2025, but I'm not even sure if that's even worth the time at this point.
Hey, Ian, thanks for the call, man. Okay, so
Interesting.
a lot there.
Okay,
so let's. I'm gonna just say this on Vladdy. I don't have anything interesting to say about Vladdy today.
Yeah,
Vladdy was not the issue today.
No, not at all.
I agree with the point from Ian that the team was built around him, and it has not followed through in the sense that you can't build a team, or you can build a team around a superstar. You cannot build a team around an above average player.
Correct.
And that is what the Blue Jays look like right now, and that is, at least in part, a reason why they are struggling. So I do agree that was a mistake, certainly. I don't think anyone really realized, from fans, the media, to probably even the Blue Jays themselves, that Vladdy would be, quote-unquote, simply only an above-average first baseman. But, I don't know, like, I agree that does he deserve to get paid $1 bazillion in his next deal? Probably not, right? And that probably is the reason why he doesn't have a long-term contract. So I'm certain the player camp and the team camp are very far apart in where they view valuations. But, I mean, Passan has said this a million times to Blair and Barker, but first basemen, just first of all, don't get paid that much money.
Yeah.
And, guys who are not terrors on the base paths as well as not hitting tons of bombs also don't get paid that much money. And he's kind of all of those things right now.
Well,
so
yeah, I'm trying to even think, like, would Albert Pujols be the most recent example of a marquee first baseman free agent type that got really paid big money?
Maybe, and he got paid ages ago.
Like, I Goldschmidt got traded.
Yeah.
Right? Freeman, what did Freeman sign for? That's another one that might
but
be
he cuts the cover off.
But again, that's a different animal altogether, right? Like, that's a guy that's in 300 with 30 homers and 100+ stakes every year. But I think Vladdy was the furthest thing from my mind today, because I think he performed well, and there were very, not to steal the buzzword from Ross Atkins, encouraging signs, but there were some encouraging results today from him, specifically like him driving the ball to the pull side, which was really, really positive. He had the double down the left field line, and that's something we haven't seen a ton of. Would you like more extra base production and more power? 100%. And I think the criticism of the strategy of potentially trying to center this team around not just him, but he and Bo, like, are they transcendent players, or are they just above average players? They might be really high-end major leaguers, but they're not of the transcendent variety. And I think that's a fair assessment at this point. So I'm with you. I did want to touch on Ian's comment about John Schneider. That one I really did. Because this was the first, and we've seen a little bit, but today I really sat there and there were moments where I thought, boy, that's a tough look, man. Like, I just said it. The Pearson thing to me was totally indefensible. And then even talking about what was going on with Turner there in the bottom of the eighth, and the letting him hit versus deciding to lay down a bunt or pinch hit for him there. Yeah, it was a rough look for John Schneider today's show. It was a rough look for him today. I do believe this. If this continues, right, the Blue Jays are now 6 games under 500. And I said this when, I'm just looking at the schedule here, I guess this was when the Dodgers were in town. Yeah, and you and I did it on the Saturday of that series. And I said this to you, that was what, like 3.5 weeks ago, basically? Almost a month ago, I guess, right? And I said this to you then, but what is the breaking point, right? Like, where is that point where you say, okay, major changes have to happen? Of course, the fans on the phones and on the text line, I think, believe we are well beyond the pale in that sense, right? We are well beyond the point of major changes needing to have happened, which they haven't happened yet. So if that's the case, then what does management believe that point is? And I genuinely think if we get to the end of this month, because you're playing some winnable games against beatable teams, right? And the Rays are the Rays. The AL East is what it is. This game was easily winnable today as well. Yesterday's game was winnable also. If you think you're a playoff team, though, you have to win these games. Oh, yeah. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, but if you're like, you can lose games against other teams that are in your division, that are familiar with you and so on. But it's a whole other animal, in my opinion, to go and lose games against the White Sox, Tigers, and Pirates. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, they're those are the next teams coming up starting on Monday. Yeah. They're some of the worst teams in baseball. But the Blue Jays have, like, a worse record than the Detroit Tigers, and I don't know. So we got to show some respect to the Tigers. Hey, I'm kidding. But even the Pirates, they've been playing better. In fairness, guess what's going to happen when they play the Pirates? John Schneider's going to come out, if he's still the manager at that point, and he's going to say, "We got to tip our cap to Jared Jones. We got to tip our cap to Paul Skeens, and we got to move on." Right? Like, that's what's going to happen. We know the routine. Oh, really good pitchers. Like, that's. I don't want. We got to move past that point. Yeah. That point that's frustrating in and of itself. Is when we hear that stuff all the time. Wait till Garrett Crochet next week. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, if that's the breaking point. I think if you're losing these kinds of games to way worse teams, and even the Rays themselves were like hovering around 500, and they came into this series one game above 500, and they've went out 1-2 straight against the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-0590, star 590 on your cell. Giacomo in Windsor. Giacomo, what's on your mind?
I'll get you off speaker. I know you guys are going to get to it. I know Daniele was down there, and I listened to Ross Haskins' press conference. What was it like? Obviously, he talks like a lawyer, even though he's not. He doesn't ever really answer anything, give us anything. I don't know. What was the whole point of the press conference? And do you think, like he did it on his own, or did Mark tell him, hey, have a press conference and, try and calm people down, even though he probably made it worse? Like, what was the point of the press conference, and what did you guys think of it? I know Daniele commented on it, but I think it's your show, and just seems like, do you think he did it on his own, or do you think he was forced to do it, or was it in collaboration? Thanks, boys.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Giacomo. It's a valid question because, yesterday we did like an hour of Jays talk where I wanted to know what people were expecting to hear from Ross Atkins, and basically everyone wanted to hear that he was resigning, and he obviously wasn't going to go stand up in front of the media and resign live, right? If anything, he would have been fired last night or something, and then it would have been Mark Spire going to talk to people,
or the press
right?
release first.
That's what I mean. You don't ever do it live, obviously. But I was curious if he was going to take any sort of responsibility, take some accountability for anything that's gone on. And then, the truth is, it's kind of what I think everyone largely expected, right? He kind of said exactly he didn't really deviate from anything we have gotten used to hearing from him over the last several years. And, the buzzword, to your point from earlier, was encouraging. We heard the word urgency a lot. That it was kind of par for the course, right? So to Giacomo's point, what was the point? I honestly think the point was just after hearing what he had to say, because he didn't really say anything of substance. After hearing what he had to say, I genuinely think the point simply was to just make an appearance to the media.
Yeah.
Right?
Show
some face. GMs from other teams do. I don't think they talk a lot, but they certainly talk more than Ross Atkins do. In my opinion,
I don't think it's even the talking part of it, the presentation of actually conducting a scrum every few weeks or sitting in the dugout. It's that they're present and they're visible within the confines of the ballpark on a daily basis. You see that with a lot of other GMs and presidents. In Toronto, you don't see them every day. Yeah. And so I think at some point, especially with the way the team has performed, there is that impetus. And I wonder, that's a great question by Giacomo, how much of it was collaborative in terms of was it the PR team approaching Ross Atkins, or maybe it's some combination of both to say, okay, we think it's an appropriate time for you to go out there and say something about the way the team has played. We need to try and stabilize our messaging here.
I genuinely think at least a part of the consideration for why he spoke when he did also, 10:45 Eastern
on a
Saturday morning of the long weekend, was that maybe you hope that not a lot of people will be there.
No question.
Which did not happen. Basically, every person I see down here on a regular basis was standing down there.
It was jammed.
There was a lot of people down there for considering the time and the place. It was right in front of the Blue Jays dugout on right up the third base line.
Yep.
And on top of that, it's before. Again, to the point of beatable teams coming in here, it's before the White Sox come to town, and it's before you go play the Tigers, and before you go play the White Sox again, and before the Pirates come to town. It's just I think if you go out there and you preach consistency, and we believe what's going to happen, we trust the process, we're encouraged, the underlying signs are there, we're getting into good counts, all the things he said today, and then they go out and do it against a bunch of crappy teams. Then you can kind of take credit for it a little bit, right? I don't know if that's wearing too much of a tinfoil hat, but I think that's at least a partial consideration.
I do too. I think that's a really good point because they're incredibly meticulous when it comes to this stuff. So they're not going to be half measured in anything. I feel very positive in saying that was definitely a consideration. Looking at the schedule, saying, this might be the most opportunistic spot to do this, the most favorable spot to do this, even though the team's struggling, but we've got maybe some not freebies, but opportunities to get some wins on the calendar, and this will be the opportunity to satiate the appetite of the fan base a little bit. I think that definitely came into play. Again, to reiterate, I wasn't overly surprised by what he said. I know a lot, it angered and infuriated a lot of the fan base, but the messaging was about what I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was. But like you said to me during the pregame show, that's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
Kerosene.
Kerosene. Is kerosene more dangerous than gasoline?
I think so. I'll
take your word for it.
Yeah, I think gas is. I don't know all the specifics about all these agents, but I'm pretty sure kerosene isn't like it's The purpose is
Look,
for it to
you pour
ignite
any of that
fires.
stuff on fire, it's going to get worse.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
totally.
Let me tell you. Jay in Lake Simcoe joining us here on Jay's Talk. Jay, what's on your mind?
Oh, hey, guys. I don't want to go into the individual managerial decisions because we've been going through that now for a while. Let's just say that right now, this organization is in trouble. I mean, let's look at what's happening right now. You've got a very high payroll team not performing. You got one of the worst bullpens in baseball. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. And the current regime's been in power for about 1,000 games. I'm not going to do the math. It's probably been around 1,000 games, give or take. And the farm system's in the bottom third as well. And there's some serious questions that have to be looked at beyond John Schneider, beyond Ross Atkins. You know, it goes to the president and ownership to start really taking a look, because ownership's been pretty good. I'm relatively happy with the payroll. I think the renovations to the stadium have been very good. I've been going to the ballpark since many, many years. It's great. And the product on the field, not only is it not good, but the competitive window is closing, because if they don't do it this year, next year is going to be maybe the same or worse, with people maybe being traded. And there's serious questions to be asked. And if we bring it back to this season, because it's not early in the season, but it's also not late, you got to look at them. They're 6 games under 500. For them to get to 500 by the All-Star break, that's my mark. If you're at 500 by the All-Star break, you're going to be in a wild card battle. They have to win 6, 7, 8, 9 series. Okay, you figure they'll lose a series or 2 here and there. So they've got to keep winning series after series after series with a sweep or 2 in the middle of that to get to 500. In the meantime, Baltimore and the Yankees have separated themselves from the AL East. There's some surprisingly good teams in the Central. You got Texas and Seattle in the West. I mean, my goodness, what a disaster. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, hey, Jay, thanks for the call, man. I will say this. If, you look at the payroll, but you also look at the structure of a lot of the contracts on this team, Daniele.
Yep.
And there are a lot of certainly impending free agents like Kikuchi and Jansen. And we have conversations about whether or not you want to re-sign them all you want throughout the rest of the year if they continue to play well, or talk about dangling them as trade bait. But like the truth also is that there are a lot of guys on 1 more years of their deals, or 2 more years of control before they become UFAs, for example. A very large chunk of this roster, including Bo and Vladdy, are at a max of 2 more seasons under contract, and then it's nothing, right?
Yep.
There's got to be like somebody with warm bodies who are going to suit up for the Blue Jays at some point.
Sure.
But I only bring that up because, if this continues, and we don't, like Jay says, get to the All-Star break and they're not 500 by the All-Star break, and I kind of agree with him. Like, if you get to the All-Star break and you're 500, you're probably not major buyers, but you're probably also not major sellers.
Well, it gives you, at that point, a 2-3 week runway to then decide definitively.